Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's a Crime. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda, and tonight we have a bunch of cases to cover. So I'm going to give a few minutes for people to start filtering in, and I have a few little things I want to say before I get into the cases. Now, I see people are trickling in. Hello, everybody. One of the things I just want to give you an announcement, there's something going on with my community tab. And I have spoken to YouTube today, and they are elevating it and escalating the issue because something funky is going on. Now, the funny thing is this actually went because of my 144,000 that I hit. And for most of you, you may know that we said once, I hit 144, I'm now leading the 144,000 rather than Lori and Chad Daybell. So it's kind of been a little thing that we've been talking about. So tonight you're going to see actually from the members, you can use an emoji, and it is part of the 144K club, only it's the good kind. So they are working on it for the community tab, and hopefully we'll get a resolution by tomorrow. They said they'll let me know within 24 hours. Funny thing is I kept posting it, and I was going, what's going on? Because every time I would post it, within 10 seconds or a minute, it would delete. So anyways, they're working on that. And that's about it. So you have a new emoji you guys can test out and check it out anyways. Just something fun for our members. And I see a bunch of members have also come aboard the crime ring. So thank you so much. So tonight what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some of the cases, and I'll talk about the case. Then I'll have set some time so that we can go back and forth and chit chat about that. It's going to be a little hard trying to get to everybody's comments, but I'm going to do my best, and then we can have a big chat. So, and I see already one's coming in. Thanks, Rastrick. Where do I see you there? Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are doing the 144. I wish it would have showed the thing there. So one of the things also, I just want to remind you to keep it classy in the comments. And I have actually a design made as well for a sweatshirt that says keep it classy. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you the picture. Maybe at this end of this live stream, I'll show you guys for those of you who are interested. Now, let's get started, and let's get into it. And we're going to start talking about the Gannon Stauch case first. I'm just going to let me get a sip because I don't know, all of a sudden my throat's already being funny. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All of a sudden I'm losing my voice. So it's almost been a year since Gannon Stauch went missing and killed. That was January 27th of last year. And he was only 11 years old. And his stepmother, Letitia, as most of you know, has been sitting in jail. And we've actually been waiting on her second competency evaluation results. And on Tuesday, which was just the 19th, so 2 days ago, there was a hearing, and the judge found Letitia competent to stand trial for allegedly killing her stepson Gannon. So we've seen actually all sorts of crazy actions from Letitia over the past year. I'm sure you could agree. Everything from assaulting an officer to trying to sneak out, or I should say break out of jail. And the latest stunt was she was acting crazy on a Zoom call while in front of the judge. This is the previous meeting. And not coincidentally or not surprisingly, in my opinion, this was actually days before her actual assessment. But there were two different doctors that had been assigned to her in her competency evaluations. One was, I believe, in September, and the other one was just recently. And both times she was deemed competent. So she's now moving on to a preliminary hearing, which would be on March 11th and the 12th. And this is where the judge will decide if the prosecutors have enough evidence to move forward. And in my opinion, you guys can let me know, I don't think they're going to have a problem with that. So hello, Brent. Nice to see you. Brent says, smack that like button. So, and Aaron says, yes, that Zoom call was ridiculous and pitiful. Totally agree. She was basically flicking on and on off the lights and then going, oh, and spinning in circles. So, she was very interesting in that. So, Caroline says, is there anyone on this planet crazier than Letitia? Well, I guess a whole background of it, but yeah, Letitia takes the cake for sure for pulling stunts. I totally agree. Thank you, Caroline. Nice to see you. And this will not stop. Okay, it's insulting. In one hand, it is so insulting to the family that she was doing that and pulling this stunt when we all know she's not crazy, and just funny in the timing. And I don't know, she thinks she's smart with her fake doctorate, and but it's moving forward, and I think that's a blessing because this just has to go forward. Now, this is interesting because Letitia's defense is also planning to file for a conflict hearing. Basically, Letitia wants a new lawyer. And it said that only the judge will be able to see the documents, and that states what the conflict is, as it will be sealed. So if the hearing is granted, then the results will be made public. Now, I did find this little bit of information of how she wants a new lawyer from Spencer Wilson, and he's the one who interviewed Letitia. Remember, we just saw the back of her head. He's the one who interviewed her and was stating about new lawyers. So I do wonder, though, if her lawyer is like, whew, yes, because she's all kinds of crazy. Welcome to those who are just climbing onto the crime ring, and also those who are just climbing on tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going through a few different cases tonight, and I just started off with Gannon Stauch. I just want to say thank you also to my moderators for helping me out. I really do appreciate you. It helps out a lot, especially when there's so many people. And there's Jason. I haven't seen you in a long time. Nice to see you. We were just talking, you know it, on Eduardo Omeletto, and all that kind of interesting stuff. Now, keeping on with Gannon, this was also interesting at the hearing the other day. The El Paso County Sheriff's actually issued a request for additional security after the second mental evaluation, and the judge responds by saying, I understand what you are saying. So this is interesting to me as well, that they want some extra security there. I can't wait to find out more about all this. They didn't give the results or details about the competency evaluation, but only that she was deemed competent. And so we have to wait till March now. Now, I'm sure, though, this is what happens with Letitia. This is her little pattern. Her pattern is when it gets quiet, she acts out. So it's going to be quiet from now, well, maybe with this one hearing coming up because she wants a new lawyer, but it'll be quiet for a little while. So something's going to happen before March, in my opinion. All right. Thank you, Kay. Nice to see you. People are coming in from Ohio. I'm seeing everywhere. So, yes, the mods are awesome. So now, after Gannon went missing, the neighborhood where he lived in is called Orson Ranch in Colorado Springs. And let me just put my notes up here. And so they started putting blue lights around in support of Gannon on their houses. And a year later, since it's a year, these blue lights are now requested by Orson Ranch, and they're saying for everybody to put on a blue light for Gannon in memory of him and how it's been the anniversary of his death. And one of the neighbors said, at a year later, these blue lights for all of us, I think, are a way to remember him, to let him and his family know he's not forgotten. He's always important to us. And they're just hoping that to light it up in blue again to mark this 1-year anniversary. And for those of you who haven't followed the case, I highly recommend you check out my playlist. I have quite a few on this case. It's horrific. Basically, the stepmother phoned police and said her stepson was missing after not coming home from a play date. This was on a Monday afternoon at around 4:30, I believe it was. And basically, Gannon ended up being found in Florida 2 months later in a suitcase on the side of a road. During this time, the stepmother did all kinds of crazy things and shenanigans, for lack of a better term, and lied about a whole lot of things, including there was somebody named Eduardo in the mix, but then his name changed. And it just, you can't even make this up. It's so crazy. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go see that, because I will be updating and following this case. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Gannon. He's one of the ones that just really ripped at my heartstrings and was the first child really that I covered on my channel. I've only been on for a year, just over a year now. And it was something about that just every single day I was just ripping into the information and whatever I could do to help. And I'm not going to stop until justice has been served. So just get heads up that it's coming too. And we're going to keep following this because, certain people need their just desserts. So now let's see what you guys have to say before I go on to the next case. And tell me what your thoughts are about Letitia. We know most likely that, okay, yeah, she's deemed competent. No surprise there, in my opinion. Are you guys surprised? And wanting a new lawyer. I want to hear about what you guys think about that. And I see Lisa has watching from Ontario, Canada. I love watching your shows. Very informative. Hi, Lisa. Hello, fellow Canadian. Thank you so much. A little bit tonight, my voice is weird. Somebody's asking about Eduardo. Yeah, so Letitia made a fictionary character, in my opinion, and said that Eduardo came in the house and assaulted her while she was there. She came upstairs while she did that, while he was still there, and opened the door and told Gannon's sister to go play on her bicycle, and then went down for more. So, then she changed the name. So, and there was all kinds of things. Oh, there's a sock in a forest way up north. Yeah, that's because I was getting rid of stuff in my truck, and it just flew out the back of the truck onto this area. And oh, the blood that you found, yeah, that was actually because, so she did all kinds of crazy things and she doesn't stop. So it's quite insulting at this point that she's pretending. It's just like not very smart. Eduardo Amuleto. So a new lawyer will still have the same smirk and inability to look at Letitia with a straight face. No attorney in the world could help her. She's done. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on that side. That's for sure, especially with Michael Allen. So I think this is going to be interesting. Maybe once, well, we'll see. Maybe once all this stuff, COVID stops and we can start getting back to reality, or a normal sense of reality, maybe I could come down, but. All right. Kay says it's just a stall tactic and judge will see through it. Yeah. I mean, let's just think about this for a minute. The shenanigans that's been going on. Let's think about Letitia for a moment. We saw this much of her spinning in a circle and acting cray-cray, right? She's acting crazy and all this other weird stuff. Imagine what it looked like to the actual doctor in the sessions doing the competency evaluation. That's a whole other level, in my opinion. I think that would have been interesting, and my goodness, it would have been a non-Academy Award, let's just say. But I think she would have played it like ridiculous. She did believe, most of you know this, some of you don't, she did believe she could break out of jail, and she measured herself and she needed a broomstick. So she basically was bribing another inmate to help her, and the inmate blew the whistle. So Melissa says, hi, Linda, I support you, and I wasn't to know about Orrin and Orson losing sleep, worrying about selling organs of the innocent. Oh my gosh. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you for coming on again. I see you in the Zooms on our crime ring, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, losing sleep. It's one of those things. I've seen creators now, numerous creators been saying, I'm having a hard time sleeping. And I know we're not the only ones. It's not just the creators, others, you guys, the viewers, have a lot of sleepless nights worrying about total strangers, but we care, right? We have that concern and care for children and for missing adults and missing people. And this should not happen. And you don't vanish into thin air. You just don't. So this is the whole thing, is we need to work together, and if anybody has any information, then we step forward and we do the right thing. And we just, sometimes we have to put ourselves aside and put the truth out there no matter what, right? So when is the trial? Will it be televised? March 11th and 12th. And yes, I believe we're okay on that. It'll be made public. 11th and 12th. And I think it was at a weird time. I believe it was 8:30 in the morning, but I will be, I'll post when it gets closer. And so we'll start that beginning. So, yes, somebody's giving me some tips on my voice. Hot water with fresh lemon. I'm having some tea, and I don't have my raw honey with me. I had it earlier, though. All right, so love that. Love this. Okay, so next, let's talk about the Alexis Sharkey case. And just FYI, I'm going to put some timestamps down below as well after this is processed and after we're done, so that you guys, if you need to go back or whatever you need to do, that you'll be able to see that, and it makes it a little bit easier. I know these live streams can be long. I like to talk. You guys like to talk. All right, so Alexis Sharkey. So most of you have heard, some of you have not. We've been waiting on the cause of death forever, it seems, with Alexis Sharkey, and it has been found to be strangulation. Now, the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences ruled her death as a homicide, and she went missing on Thursday, November 27th. It was a day after Thanksgiving. Her husband, Tom Sharkey, said that she left on foot. She left, and she said, he did say that we didn't have a fight when she left. And I've said, sure, maybe not at the moment she left, but his wording was odd. But her friends say, like, no way she would just leave on foot. And they said she would get an Uber or drive and this kind of thing. And also, of course, we would question, I mean, she wouldn't leave and she's just walking naked down the road in Houston on a highway, right? Where she was found was actually a straight shot from where her apartment is, where they were living. So I found that interesting, and it was a short 8-minute or 7-minute drive. It was very, very quick, and it was just a straight shot down. So it'll be interesting to see what other clues and evidence they have on this case. I know that they have mentioned that there's video surveillance of some sort. We don't know what, but that's going to be interesting as well. And her friends spoke out about their relationship between Tom and Alexis, saying that she'd been planning on divorcing him, but he's saying no, their marriage was fine. And there was also allegations of her blacking out on the bathroom floor every single time, like, quote, every single time. So again, Tom stated there weren't any marital problems, but I mean, there's some weird things. So somebody's asking for my email. If somebody could just put that in there. Tom Sharkey is Alexis Sharkey's husband. And yeah, so what was interesting is while we were waiting for these results to come in of her autopsy, originally Tom was listed as the next of kin. And while we were watching it, we kind of saw it switch to the parents. And then what happened was the mother said that she had to actually fight for Alexis's body, and Tom stopped communicating for 2 weeks, and then she basically had to, she says, I don't want to call it, but it was almost like a fight to get her. So I found that interesting. And the Houston medical examiner said the autopsy report will be available after law enforcement concludes this case. So if you guys are questioning or wondering when that will come, there's my email if you need it. Thank you so much, without the apostrophe, but it's easy to it's easy to do that. I totally get it. Thank you, Diana. All right. So they did find that she was strangulated. Now, the interesting thing is they said that there were no marks on her neck, or I shouldn't say on her neck. They just said there's no visible marks on her body. And again, she was found naked on the side of the road by city workers. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? What do you think about the results? Does it surprise you, not surprise you? Let's see. Right? Veruca, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You can't walk 3 feet in Houston, especially naked, without someone noticing. Houston is too densely populated. She had to be taken there. And she was on, and it would be a main road to get from, it was like the what do you guys call it? The freeway, right? From the apartment to the area that she was found. Yes, another huge red flag that he stopped commenting with her mother as well. Yeah, I agree. How she was disposed of was interesting, though. It was very interesting. They said she was visible from the road, and it was almost like the worker said she was almost delicately placed. I feel like that was the word. It was like delicate or something to that effect. So hopefully there's going to be a little bit more. I know a lot of people are riled up about this. They're talking about the friends, and they're talking about Tom, and I can understand that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I remember this. Now, maybe you guys can help me. I think I saw it either on Netflix or I saw it on Apple TV, and it's driving me crazy because I'm trying to remember what the case was. But there was a case, and it happened years ago. But there was a woman who married a boy, and they were very quickly married, but very soon after their wedding, he was controlling and did not allow her really to see much of her family. And now this is a true story, but it was on a crime show, and I can't remember where I saw it. So if this sparks your memory, let me know. What was interesting in this show was it showed that I believe even the dad said, listen, I'm not cool with this. It's like, I'm worried about this guy. And they ended up getting married. And then shortly after, she went for a walk with the dog and never returned. And it was around Christmas time. And what struck me was they did find her in a field, and it ended up being the husband that disposed of her. And she too, I believe, was naked as well in this field. So it struck me because it was like, man, this sounds very similar, so to speak. And if it was the husband, that it's just kind of spooky how there's some similarities there. So I don't know if you guys remember that, but I saw this not long ago, and I can't remember the names. I don't think my husband could either. So that's right, Rochelle. Good point. Always dump naked and strangle, but they forget all the evidence the body holds. Let's pray that she holds some. I pray that too with Gannon. I pray that with every single human that's found, that they have something on them that at least will get justice that way. Joe Wiley saying, were there other deaths in the area, maybe a serial? I've had a couple of emails that talked about some weird deaths in Houston. And so I'm not sure because I haven't did a deep dive on that, but there has been some conversation about that. Now, the only thing is where's her clothes, right? So you wonder, where did she go that day? Nobody saw her on that day. It was Black Friday that she wasn't posting, and she was posting a lot about her, what do you call it? Business, I guess. And the friends became concerned. She's like, that's weird. She's not posting, and there's sales and that. And she works for herself. So it's just really weird. So you got to wonder what her timeline was of that day. You guys know I like timelines. No, it wasn't Scott Peterson, but, and Angela says, I know what movie you're talking about, can't remember the name. It was kind of like an Unsolved Mysteries, but it wasn't, I don't believe. I can't remember. It's terrible, I don't remember. Thank you, Miss Tracy. Thank you so much. So nice to see all you guys in here tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. And we just finished talking about Gannon Stauch and now Alexis Sharkey. If you guys have some questions, let me know. Is the husband a suspect? Not officially. We haven't heard, but you know, that's the funny thing. Like, just because we haven't heard officially what it is doesn't mean they're not, right? It's just like in Gannon Stauch's case, we never heard that Letitia was a suspect. And then she ended up being arrested. So I don't know. I mean, Tom did choke her before, from what Alexis was telling her friends. And she was allegedly saying that she was fearful. And so there's quite a few things that were odd. But again, I don't know. I don't know. I agree. I agree with this. Ellie says strangling someone is pretty personal. Maybe she did try to leave her, and her husband snapped, tried to stop her. Given where she was found and being nude, he looks guilty. Well, they can't rule him out yet, right? So I agree with the strangling, that it is personal, but I mean, who knows, right? There could be other people at play or involved. I'd love to know her timeline, then we can kind of sneak in. Who wouldn't want to know her timeline, right? So Rain says it's going to drive me crazier. I know, right? It's been bugging me. And I just remember seeing that going, man, this sounds a lot like it. Texas Sweet Bee, nice to see you. Thank you for all the time you're researching these cases. Thank you so much. I do work hard. I'm getting a little tired. I need a little bit of help. But other than that, I love it. I love doing what I do here. I really do. And I love you guys. Community is very, very, very important. Teresa says, of course the husband did it. I think a lot of us are saying that. So the official thing, it was said strangulation. It said strangulation was the cause of death. And yes, I will be putting pictures of Orrin and Orson up as well. I just haven't got there yet. Thank you, Octavia, from Pasadena, California. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. And 3,000 and 3,100 others tonight. Tatted Red says, I'm happy I caught this live. This one happened in Houston, right? Correct. This was in Houston a day after Thanksgiving. So it was November 27th. And thank you. Thanks for the super chat. It was a day after. So there's been a lot of things happening with that. There's some weird things in here. A lot of people are questioning, because there was talk about a boyfriend, and then there was talk about Tom, and there was talk about their friends. So I don't know. This is so G-Dub says it's a crime. I don't understand why people think their friends killed her. Why would they do that? What's the motive? I don't know. To me, I'm staying at the home because of things, the chitter chatter. Now, I've seen Tom Sharkey even talk about a divorce to a text to Alexis. And so for him to make the statement that their marriage wasn't in trouble, isn't exactly truthful. So there's that. And if there is chitter chatter about them going to be getting a divorce, and also that, he hasn't been the nicest to her, doesn't mean he killed her. But at the same time, the timing is very interesting. And where she was located, I mean, it's a straight shot from her home. Where's she going to go? Where's her clothes if she walked on foot? Did somebody pick her up? Maybe. There was a reporter that said that I believe it was a vehicle that was spotted on camera. So I guess we just sit it out. 100% agree. Timeline is key given her history. 100% agree. Let me see. Yeah, I did hear about this. Another channel did an update on this case and said Alexis was with a guy named Sebastian that night. I heard about this. I actually heard about it from the friend, from Tanya, I believe. Not directly, but from what I read. And there was supposedly a guy that she spent some time with. I don't know about that. They're saying that she was at a club in the night before. But again, I don't know if that's fact or not. Yeah, if being killed, scratch like crazy, get him caught by DNA. For some of you that know me, I love DNA, and I agree. That's gonna be some. I hope they come with DNA. Like, I hope there's something on them. Hopefully she scratched like crazy, but I don't know. And there's some interesting cases that are now being solved by DNA 20 years later, 30 years later, and even proving some people to be innocent as well. So there's some good stuff coming. All right. So here we go. What else? I'm going to touch on really, really quick before we're about to get to Orrin and Orson. I'm going to touch a little bit on Heidi Broussard. She's the woman who was kidnapped with her newborn baby last year. And there was supposed to be a case, a court case yesterday, and I went to watch it. There was nothing to watch. And usually it updates and pushes the court date out. And so it didn't. So I thought, okay, great. And then again, today I watched again to see it, and it's pushed out again to February. So every month this thing gets pushed out, it's just too bad. That this needs to get started. I know there's COVID issues, but we are seeing, maybe it's because it's the state of Texas. I don't know, but we're seeing, because this happened in Austin and Houston. Heidi lived in Austin, and Megan, who was her best friend for decades, stole her, basically kidnapped her best friend and the baby. And then they were found a week later at Megan's house. Only the baby was in the house. Megan, the friend, she faked a pregnancy, and she stole the baby. And she faked the whole pregnancy the whole time and just said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, we're due the same week." Imagine that. And so baby was found okay, mummy not so okay. She was in the trunk of Megan's car in a duffel bag. So, and then when the cops came to say, "Hey, what happened?" And she goes, "Well, I gave birth, and I gave birth and I don't remember the place that I gave birth at, but I gave birth and I just don't remember what it's called." And ladies who out here who've had children, like what the hospital looks like, or the birthing place, because she was in a birthing place, like what do you call it? Oh, I can't even think of the name, but a birthing place. And you have to go to doctor's appointments. You have to, like, you do a walkthrough, you do all these things. So she was totally BSing everything, and it's not looking good for her. She gained weight in the whole bit. She lived with a boyfriend, and the boyfriend broke up with her around the time she got, quote unquote, pregnant, and then lied to him through the whole time. Then he's like, what? She's like, don't get mad. I went and had the baby without your knowing. Don't get mad. And then steals her best friend and kills her. Allegedly. So anyways, that's ongoing. Once that hits court too, I will be covering it. So you guys can go and check that out. All right. So, and one more, tomorrow there is court with Evelyn in the Evelyn Boswell case. She's the little munchkin there. You can see her. You can see her right there. Her mother is sitting in jail, and she is going tomorrow to find out if the death penalty is at play. So that's going to be a big morning tomorrow. That's where I'll be. I'll be checking that out. Yes. So allegedly, right? So yes, it is scheduled for tomorrow, and I think that's at 9 a.m. Let me check my fancy schmancy planner. 9 a.m. All right. Okay, so we'll see what happens tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Welcome to everybody who's coming in just now. We just covered a few different cases. I will be putting timestamps in the description below after this. And we talked about the Gannon Stauch case, Alexis Sharkey, Heidi Broussard, which happened a year ago, and also Evelyn Boswell. And her mom is going to court tomorrow. And we're going to find out if the death penalty is on the table. So it should be interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Do you guys think this is you think they're going to put this in play? Yes. Poor little baby Evelyn. Anybody would have loved to take her off. Yes, absolutely. She's teeny tiny, and they didn't report her missing for months. And then we had to see the mother, Megan, lie on camera. And literally the sheriff's department is like, when I say she's given a different story, I mean every single time. It was something to that effect. He's like, I mean every single time. So she's slapped with all kinds of charges, including lying to the officers, and I think it was 19 charges, 19 of them. Hello, Sheila from Colorado. Yeah, Gannon's right there. Yeah. Okay, you guys think, Rochelle says yes, but a deal will be made. Caroline says, I think they'll seek the death penalty. Kimberly says, I hope so, or let's get eye for an eye. Heather says, the only good thing came out of this was a new law for missing children. I think they will go after the death penalty. Yes, because they came out with Evelyn's law that you have to report a missing child. I believe it was under... Ooh, do you guys remember? Was it 48 hours, or that seems too long? Maybe it's under 24 hours. Oh, thank you, Miss Nomer. I like your name. Thank you. People coming from Atlanta. So, thank you, Mrs. Cavalier. Or Cavalier. Algo, hello, Algo. Oh, yes, death penalty, Kathleen says. And Algo says, don't know, but would make it 6 hours. Yeah, I can't remember. I got to look that up. It is within 48 hours. Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought I remembered 48, but then I thought, man, that seems very long. It seems long, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. And Melissa says someone needs to tell the West about the 48-hour law. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute for sure. The legislation requires parents and guardians to report a missing child to law enforcement within 48 hours of their disappearance. Okay, thank you so much for grabbing that. I remember 48, but I thought, man, that seems really, really high. I mean, 2 days. Holy man. Thank you, Eve. All right. So, should be 48 minutes. I know. I can understand that for sure. All right. So let's talk about Orrin and Orson West, because I know a lot of you are in here for that, along with my other cases as well. And just be sure, let me just check here. I'm just going to check. Okay. Make it 1 minute. Why wait 2 days? I don't know. That's interesting to me. 2 days seems like a lot. Do you guys agree? Emma, hi Linda, love your channel. Have you, you're from California. Have you heard of a missing case of a missing mother of 3? Yes, I have heard of her. I just started kind of snooping around to see. And I did get also an email from another person who has a cousin missing. And so I'm looking into that too as well. So I'm starting to dive into that. Yeah, Heather, most people notice their child is missing right away. Hopefully one would. Greetings from Austria. Welcome. Hi, Renata. Nice to see you. All right, so somebody's laughing. Leisha says, holy man must be a Canadian saying. I know 2 others from BC who say that. It's cute. Well, I grew up in BC, so maybe that's why. That's funny. I don't know. I say some weird things. Some people think I have a weird accent too, so it's all good. Okay, so let's talk about Orrin and Orson, and then we can move on as well. First, I'll give you some of the chunks that I've heard from the chief, and then I'll go to some of my thoughts, and then we'll go from there, because there's a video I'm working on, and I keep ripping it apart, so it's bothering me. So the interesting points from Chief Walker, John Walker. First of all, let's just address this, because some people haven't heard about this. But John Walker has an acting career, or has had an acting career, and some people are like, "What? What is this? This is going on. This is super weird." But he addressed it with one of the reporters and said, "Yes, I did some acting. I retired from Los Angeles in 2015, and in 2015 is when I did some acting." And then he says, and now I got hired in 2019 as a chief, so chill out. Basically, he didn't say chill out, but he was just like, okay, you guys just chill out. Just saying, it's not a big deal. And you know what? I'm gonna back him up, and I'll tell you why. My husband is a paramedic, and so they do shift work, right? And firefighters do, and so it's not abnormal for people in that professions, or those types of professions, to have a different side gig. They'll go on the side and they'll have like electrician job, or like just pick up different jobs. And so my hubby teaches CPR. He does that online, and he does it in person. So there's just different things they do on their days off, because sometimes they work 4 on 4 off or whatnot. So that doesn't surprise me. It did a little bit. It is a little bit surprising, but at the same time, I get it. So, and good for him for looking out to do something different when he retired, because some people never do. And, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You don't want to have that, right? So anyways, I just wanted to say that. So Leah says maybe the kids were missing before they moved to California City. This is the loaded question. And I'm going to hound this in right now. I'm going to just play this like a broken record because I think it's important. If Trezell parks like that normally, parallel, and normally tells the kids to get in the van and does that kind of weird thing, parking parallel, then I would feel that the kids were, sorry, if he did that normally, then I do believe that it happened in California City. Not just that, but this is the one clue that I think is super important. Remember, for those of you who followed the Gannon Stauch case, and CW too, but I don't want to talk about him. Letitia backed up too, and she was doing she would back up and then fix it and back up, and she'd do some weird things. The question always is, sometimes it's not abnormal for somebody to do that, right? My hubby he'll go park somewhere and he'll back up into something because he's used to doing that with his ambulance. And I find that weird. But the question is, does Trezell, is that weird to Trezell? Does he usually park that way? And why I say that is, if it's abnormal and he only did it, let's say that weekend of December 19th, 2021, and he only did that there, then the question becomes, why? Otherwise, if he does that normally, it's like, okay, not that big of a deal because he always does that. But we see on the 19th, he's loading 4 kids into the van. Where's the 6th? And then he's coming back. Obviously, they went to grandma's to go for vacation. I should say vacation there. And then call in on Monday, right? So there's some questions around that. And the reason why is like, why did they wait till the 21st of December to do that? Was it the 21st that they went missing? I think it's super important to say the kids were reported missing on December 21st, not that they did go missing, because we don't know that. There's no evidence of that. Even Chief Walker says, we don't know where the kids went. The parents are saying that they were last seen on December 21st. And so or the neighbors are saying we haven't seen the children. Not that that means a lot, because I shouldn't say that. Not that means that the kids weren't in there. They just didn't see them. And from the sounds of it, from AV Watchman, who did the video about the neighborhood camera and stuff, they were saying, and he also interviewed one of the old neighbors. They were saying that they didn't really go outside in the apartment too. So maybe he was just hiding out. And if he was hiding out, why is he hiding out? And there's just some weird things to me, and we really just need to dig in a little bit more. I always think about what Chris and Mike said from Profiling Evil and from the interview room. It's now that. Chris has his own channel, but they always say, like, we haven't left the house. We haven't left the house. And so I do teeter. Maybe California City, maybe Bakersfield. And I want to know, did he usually park like that? And if you talk to AV Watchman, or, like you guys are chit-chatting about that, maybe you could say, hey, could you find out if there was what he parked like the week before or the day before, or what that looked like? Because if it's abnormal, it's super shady, then yeah, something's going down that weekend. Why? And why did it start, let's say, on Saturday, or why did it start on Friday? That's what I would like to know. I do. I'm crazy about that. When something bothers me, I need to know. So then what Chief Walker also said was, we are processing evidence. He said there's hours and hours of security video from the surrounding neighborhood. He said our hours of body cam video from the police officers, and they're still going through all of it. And he also said a lot of evidence, like a lot of evidence. And they were talking about boarding up the house. He said the police did not pay for that to be boarded up. I think some of you guys may know that already. Oh, you guys have some. The apartments he would park in the back seems he wanted to avoid people seeing them. He'd park in the back. Okay. He would park in the back at the old apartment. And there's stalls there, right? From what I saw, I believe that's the one. The neighbor said they didn't see the kids ever, and also the apartment neighbor said the kids were isolated. I think before the move, the boy disappeared. Also, neighbor said he parked the van unusual. So maybe he has a way of parking odd. Could be. Deb Lyon says, my question is Chalk a pet because I saw no kid art. This is an interesting question. I did see, and I did it in my members live a couple weeks ago about his picture with his dog. I'm going back in here. I'm just going to read his statement. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. You keep them close. So I was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. Go in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them, so I came back outside and started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. Interesting question. Is chalk a pet? I know they had a dog, but let's talk about this for a minute. If one or two people, I'm just assuming two because there's two little kids, that come and steal these children, would a dog allow that to happen? Just a question. Any dog owners, let me know what your thoughts are. But this is interesting. Is chalk a pet? I know they have a dog because I saw it on Trezel's profile, which he deleted I think it was Twitter that I saw it on. I showed it in my members live, and then it was gone. So that's a really, really interesting question. And his words are, remember I kept asking, why does he keep talking about chalk? It's unnecessary. Why is that? Asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them. But then how do you play with a dog and stay on the patio? Right? At 3 and 4 years old. Let's talk about that. Marie, let's see where your comment is. Marie says they sold the boys. They just bought the house. Closing cost. He even borrowed $5,000 from a friend and checked their bank account. Thank you, Marie, for your comment and your super chat. I'm trying to find it, but it's not highlighting for some reason. I heard about the $5,000. The weird thing is, how do you borrow money in the United States for a home down payment? Because in Canada, you cannot do that. You have to show where your money comes from, and it can't be borrowed. So that's very interesting to me. Very interesting. If anybody is a realtor, actually, I have a longtime friend on here too, mortgage gal usually on here, that she'd be the one to ask as well. Tammy says, the other weird thing is that we know that there are now 4 kids in CPS custody. Trezel told the realtor he only had 4 kids, but 2 returned to CP. So we have heard from the chief that 4 are in custody. He did say that. I heard him say 4 kids because I was like, well, maybe he didn't say 4, but he did. He said 4 kids are in custody. And I know there's been some back and forth. Are there 6? Are there 4? We also have to take into account, did Trezel mean 4 because now 4 are like he has 2 bios, to adopted and 2 fosters? Did he say, well, I have 4 kids and 2 fosters, or was he in between foster children, or what did that mean, right? Because I'd like to know when he talked to the realtor. And my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is they purchased the house end of June or July, and then that they closed at the end of September. Is that correct? Let me know what you guys think. Carol says, adoptive parents were just asked to take a polygraph. Oh, okay. Haven't heard that yet. Where can we find that? That will be interesting. And that's about it. And that's how it all played out. What is a members live? I have a membership where people come and they are part of my crime ring, is what I call it, and it's a membership on the channel. So it's different tiers and different perks available. So we were just chit-chatting on a private live stream. Thank you, Food Whisperer. Okay, I don't know if Chalk is the dog. I have no idea, but it's interesting. That's an interesting question. I'd like to know what the Chalk is called. what the dog is called. People were talking about the fireplace, but I think the neighbors would have smelled burning. It's not a smell you forget. Yes, from my understanding, it isn't. Linda, did you know Jacqueline West has 2 arrests? Did you know Channel Bring It programmer has a video? Somebody sent me an email tonight before I went on, and I heard of 2. I've heard of 2 things on her criminal record. One of them was for drug paraphernalia, from my understanding, and the other one, not quite sure yet. I'm looking into it. And okay, I'm trying to find the comments. There we go. Charles C. Norton says, just heard they asked parents for a polygraph, but chief wouldn't say if they did. I've heard the loan officer that have him the 5,000 that gave him the 5,000 was crooked. I feel 80's family knows what happened because they are way too close. Okay, so that they're asked for a polygraph, and thank you, Charles C. Nice to see you. But chief wouldn't say if they did. Yeah, he's keeping a lot of things close to his chest, isn't he? Like he's of course he has to, right? But some of these things are interesting because he was asked, and I'll get back to this these updates. He was asked about how thorough they checked the house, and the reporter asked, well, did you check under the floorboards and everything? And he goes, I can tell you that I searched. We've searched everywhere you could possibly search. And he kept saying that. He did not confirm or deny that actual floorboards, but he said, I can tell you this, that they searched everywhere they could possibly search. Now, my question is, because he was talking about the concrete slab underneath. I know in a lot of places in California, you do not have basements, right? I know in Canada, it's very normal to have basements, but I know in Texas and California and different places like that, it's not normal to have basements. So that was my question, is if there is a basement, or it's just literally what he said, there's just a slab and then it's on top of that. Someone's saying her sister lives at the apartments. I heard that too. They declined. Okay, well. I heard that too. Hi, missing person. Nice to see you. Bakersfield neighbors said West gave back Foster's because they were smoking weed. I heard that as well. I don't know when, though. That's the other thing. The house down payment money can be a gift. I don't think we can do that in Canada. I'm pretty sure we can't do that in Canada. But been a while, but I've owned quite a few houses, so I'm not too sure. $5,000 was for closing costs that seller didn't agree to cover. It was a USDA home loan, so dirt cheap. Oh. Okay, this is a good question too, Mimi. I'm going to put this up. Thank you, Audrey. I'm curious to know if he had connections to California City prior to moving. I was sent some information as well that there is the Aspen Avenue address goes back to the mid 2000s. But I don't know if that's a mistake in the history when you pull up with their previous history or what the heck is going on, because it has a span of it that they sent me. I'm going to dive into a little bit more of that, but I find that super weird. So I don't know what's going on that way, if they have a history of being out there. People were saying that Trezell wanted to supposedly go off the grid there. And if that's the case, my question is, why? And does that mean that the kids were in Bakersfield and then he wanted to go off the grid? And that's why he kept the children hiding in the, I shouldn't say hiding, but they didn't go out that much, because there was something interesting too that he says. And I'm going to pull up my thing again because I have to pull up his statement. He says a lot, and I think he tells on himself a little bit, or a lot bit. Especially when the mom was like, the reporter's like, well, the mother thinks there's foul play. And he goes, that's exactly the point. Yeah. So you just told us something right there. Okay. There was something where he said, sorry guys, I'm going to pull this up. I transcribed everything. It took me a long time, but I did it. Okay, now I don't remember what I'm doing. Oh, I remember. It was, okay. Please hold. Remember at the end of the street, their interview, they were talking about staying in because of COVID. It was really strange. It's just going to drive me crazy. Okay, hang on. So basically, he was talking about COVID, and he was saying the kids were on vacation, and then the other two stayed here. And sorry, you guys. It's going to drive me crazy where it was. Here. This is right after he's talking about being rambunctious, the kids being rambunctious. He said very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each other. And Jacqueline says, they're kids. And he echoes, like he likes to do, they're kids. And he says, of course, they would love to go out, but we wouldn't during the pandemic. We weren't trying to go out here. And so we stayed inside. And then he furrows his eyebrows in it. So for me, this is really weird, because I find, okay, I get it because of the pandemic, right? You're supposed to stay, in your house and around you could still go in the backyard. But he says we weren't trying to go out here. We stayed inside. So that makes me think like, okay, are you hiding? Was it hiding? Especially with all these other little chitter chatter that you're hearing. What if he wanted to go off the grid? I don't know if he did or not. That's what I'm hearing. And so is that why the kids aren't outside? Are you laying low? Like, what's going on? Why did you choose to go to California City? Some people are saying he wanted to do something about growing his own food or something. I don't know. Can you grow food in the desert like that? I don't know. And where is the dog? Yeah, right? Thank you, Audrey. Found you there. Let's see, did I miss somebody here? JW's Treasure Trunk says, wonder if they check the water over at the golf course. It's a 3-minute drive for the house on the road that loops around. They're here, but not walking. I 110% agree with you. The reason why I also agree with you is this has been like on my mind about this. Did they drag the water? And if the kids were in California City, if this turns out that they were there, I feel, in my opinion, and we've seen, Trezell and Jacqueline are quite lazy. They're quite lazy. And I don't think they would go far with them because of their laziness. I mean, if this is a story made up, right? If this is a story made up that the kids left the yard, which we know they didn't leave the yard, okay? So we could say it's a made up story. But if they were going on with that, and they only searched for 6 minutes and came back and sat around for 13 minutes. That's pretty lazy even to like try and go, hey, like make it look like at least we're doing something. Maybe you could have done a little more than 6 minutes. You hungry? Like what's going on? Why aren't you pretending even more? Right? Ridiculous, my opinion. So if they were in that house, and they live there, then I feel like it's going to be closer than we think. I took a look. There's a great video on that lake around there, and it was really good. And I want to know if they dragged the lake. And from my understanding, I think in 2015, 2016, there's some serious issues with that lake. And I don't know if they fixed it, but there was some serious issues with, just being not flowing and all this other stuff. So I don't know what the words are. I'm not an expert in that area, but there was some issues there. So I do wonder about that, if it was just, a hop skip over there. It's been bugging me. That's one of the things that's been bugging me. Okay, let's see here. Miss Tracy says, notice no bowls for water or food in the yard for a dog. Heidi says, then why did you let the other kids go on vacation with the grandma? Right? It makes no sense. So you're trying not to go out. This is what makes me think, was this a last minute something happened? Because why all of a sudden you're sending them? And let's be real, okay? Let's just imagine for a minute. Let's say we all have 6 children each, okay? And I know there's some mummies and daddies out here, so you know what it's like to have 1 child, 2 child, 6 children, 10. If you're going to send the children to grandma's, house, wouldn't you send the whole clan to grandma's? I mean, let's be real for a minute. 3 and 4 years old are the ones that are like, please, I just need 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. That's it. 5 minutes, right? So you're sending the older ones, but you're not sending the 3 and 4-year-old. Why? Maybe because the grandma's a little older. I don't know how old she is. Maybe she's a little older and it's tough to have 6 children. However, when you have the older ones at grandma's house, you could help grandma out, right? Am I wrong? I don't know. This is how I feel. And so a mom and dad who are like, okay, we need to get the Christmas ready. We need to wrap a bunch of presents. Let's ask grandma if she can take the kids overnight. But apparently it was a vacation. So vacationing for Christmas, does grandma not have crap she needs to get done too? So it's very interesting to me. What happened to want him to go shopping in Bakersfield? That's the question. Why? Why are you doing it? Why now? And did they always go? Like, was this like, hey, because my little one goes to see Nana every once in a while. How often did they go to grandma's house? Was this out of the blue and never's happened? And you're sending 4 of them? What are you doing in the afternoon? Did you actually go to the mall? Did you go shopping? It was like a 2-hour window that he could actually have before coming back. And then, children are off. There's some weird things. And right before Christmas, and with pandemic, you're not supposed to be. I don't know the exact extreme rules in California. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on that one. But there's some really, really, there's some interesting things there. So, S. Garrett says, I believe there was a whole lot of abuse in that household. There's definitely something going on. I mean, one of the interesting things the chief said, and I'm sure I'll cover it again, but he said in the beginning of the investigation, when he first came out, he was like, okay, I can only tell you the things that happened from December 21st. And other people are like, well, yeah, that's when the children were reported missing. But he said, I can only talk about the things that happened from December 21st on. What happened before that? Of course you can grow in the desert if you have water. I'm just wondering, because of the soil, like what do you actually can grow out there? Because I don't know. Usually not a lot of things live. So you guys are in agreement. They're pretty lazy about that. There are 2 areas with huge water lakes right there. I thought that today. Yeah, I hope they dragged it already. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And so, what are some other things that he said? The reporter said about going into the house again. He said he's been several times. They had 2 warrants, actually. And then he said if they need to go back, they'll get another warrant. Law enforcement was last at the house a week and a half ago and took 1 new piece of evidence. He talked about doing the search for cadaver dogs in there. And they said they did, where was that? About the garage. They searched the garage, they took stuff from the garage, the shed, and inside the house. Just let me look here. They talked about they addressed hidden rooms. He says not that they found. Yeah. Let me see. Outfits aren't so shocking important as gifts to babies that they couldn't see too. Everything is sketchy AF about this, to be honest. Yeah, it's sketchy from day one, and people could feel what was going on with these parents. I don't know. That's a good question. I've been wondering that too. Who is the gentleman he talked to? Because he said he even talked to a gentleman over there. Who's the gentleman that you talked to? Do you know him? And did the guy come forward? Melissa says, I saw a dirt pile from the holes and took a screenshot of it from one of the videos. Yes, I showed that the other night. Me and Mike were talking about that from Profiling Evil. I'll just show you there. Let's see how we could do that. I don't know why it's not moving over. Weird. Yeah, he was talking about that the other night, and some were saying that they didn't do it, and some were saying they were. Now, I know there was remarks from the neighbors that were saying, yeah, that was here, hang on, guys. I'm just going to try and get this back. Okay. The neighbors were saying that they heard drilling and all this other stuff. What was interesting is Mike was talking about the holes and how it looked like the table could have been over top. He just said it was just very interesting to him. And he was saying maybe it wasn't by the FBI that did that, but my understanding was it was from them. So I'm a little confused as to what actually happened there. Thank you, Nikki. I'm trying to find you here. There you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, you can make one on there and I'll put it up for you. Were the kids actually seen at the new house? No. The dogs went in. Supposedly they got a scent, and but there's no anything that the children were in there. However, the Chief Walker did say that they got lots of evidence coming out, coming out. So that was interesting. And I had asked Mike too, I think it was Mike or maybe it was Chris from the interview room. When you go and you dig in a yard like that, from like the FBI digging, they would have to have something to go on to start digging in that yard. They're just not going to nilly-willy do that, right? So the question is, what led them to go dig in that yard? That's the question. And so I'm wondering, though, if it was that comment from Trezell that said, you don't go on the dirt, you keep them close. I wonder if that kind of triggered something, or what was it that led them to go, where are they? Are they in the yard? But I would love that question answered. And the other question is, whose shirt, or like, if they're bringing the dogs, this is a scent of Orrin and Orson. Is it Orrin and Orson's scent? And here's the other thing that's not talked about. 3 or 4 years old, you have car seats, right? Anybody have kids that age? Let me know in the comments there. You have car seats. Where are the car seats? Were there car seats in that van? If so, the dogs could get the scent from the car seats. So I would like to know that little piece of information. Oh, the chief did say they dug in the yard. That's where I thought. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I heard about them digging in the yard. So I don't know what, but question is, have they questioned the other 4 kids about the 2 missing kids? My understanding is most likely they would, by somebody who's skilled in that. Linda, look at the driveway in this picture. It's circular. He parked this way, found because it was easy. Yeah, okay. But this is the question. I understand it's a circle and you would normally go in there, but do you stop there and just load the kids always? Or did he do that and then park the other way, or did he park that way? I want to know that information, because we can guess that he did, but we don't really know, right? So that's what's important, is what did Trezell do often? And did he always hurry the kids in the vehicle like that as to not be found? Because it was kind of like military, like go, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. I've never seen that. Like, get them like that going in. Kids are usually dilly-dallying. One's going, I forgot this. I have to go pee. I gotta go, and Yeah, see? So you're supposed to be in a car seat until you're a certain height. Definitely at 3 and 4 should be in a car seat. Yeah, I mean, here in Canada, you have to be 40 pounds to get even into a booster seat. And then you got to be 80 pounds to get out of that. And which is hilarious because, man, that'd take me a long time. I actually would appreciate a booster seat. I'm only 5 feet tall, so I would appreciate a booster seat. But 3 and 4 years old, I mean, there should be car seats in the vehicle. So was there car seats or not? And did the scent that the dogs hit on, was it the same as what they hit on in the van or what they were given? Know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes they'll 10. Exactly. My little one's probably not going to be until he's 18 to get out of his car seat. Right? Oh, Lola says, in Canada, we can be gifted a down payment. Thank you for letting me know that. I've never been gifted a down payment. That'd be good to know. But if you're gifted that down payment, would they still need to know where that came from? I'm sure they would, right? Because we have to prove where that came from just in our own. So hey, muffler guy actually showed up in my last video at the very end. Missed it. Okay, let's see. Brittany Gray says AP paid $50,000 over the appraisal price. Normal, maybe due to lack of resources. Chief talked about that they use from Bakersfield PD. California law is 8 or 80 pounds. Okay. So adopted parents paid $50,000 over the appraisal price on the house. So, okay, so in Canada, I have to relate this and you guys got to show me because this is my understanding. What our house is appraised at and what we buy it for are two different things. Like our house is appraised for, I think, like 40,000 or 50,000 lower. It might be even the same thing than what we can sell it for or what we could buy it for. Mind you, COVID's brought it down. We took a hit, but our appraisal price, or are you saying appraisal price from the city or the appraisal price from a realtor? Because that's a difference. And sometimes what happens in my experience is sometimes there's two people who want the house and they can do a little bidding war and they're allowed to do that. So I don't know what it is down there, but when we get the city appraisal of what our house is worth, it's always lower than what we can sell it or buy it for. There's some 5 feet people in here. Yes, it's their right if they wanted to refuse a polygraph. Don't you think it's suspicious that both children listed same height and weight? Let me recheck. I think it has them at same weight. I don't remember that. I thought it was 2 different ones. However, they did say they were wearing the same type of outfits. That's where I was like, could be. Maybe little brother wants to dress like big brother. Could be. But it was like black shirt and dark pants. This is a really, really good question. Anybody know the answer to this? What was the stepdad's occupation? Because I've heard a few things. I saw that he's trying to sell beets, and he's an entrepreneur on his LinkedIn. So there's a different thing. Yes, Keeley says, and this is what I agree with you too. Track marks in driveway could have been from previous homeowners. Agree. Anyone who pays over appraisal is dumb and no realtor should never suggest they do so. In Calgary, there's been times where the market is so hot that you'll have two people bidding and you're getting 10,000 over list, 20,000 over list. It's crazy. If should have to sit in jail until they take a lie detector, it should be looked at as admission of guilt if you refuse to take one in all murder missing persons cases. A lot of people feel that way. I know a lot of people also say, well, it's not that accurate and this and that. So they say it's a smart move, right? But I don't know. In my own opinion, if I have a child missing and I'm not guilty, then I'd be like, whatever you need. But maybe that's a dumb move. I don't know. But for me, it's like, I will do whatever it takes. Let's organize a search. Let's do this. What do you guys need me to do? I'm over here. Can you all go over there? Like, I'll do whatever, you know? And so, but that's me. Everybody's different. However, we know for a fact that the parents are lying. The question is about what? Exactly. Was the video from across the street ever checked? It was said he was parking to block the cameras across the street. Very curious about that. The chief did say that they have hours of security video from the surrounding neighborhood. He said hours and hours and hours of body cam footage. So they're still going through that. What's interesting too, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just go back. What's interesting too is just how much room there was even across the street. Let me pull it for you guys here. Meaning there's a lot of empty lots, right? Okay, let me find this here and share. Hang on, guys. Okay. Okay, so here's their place, right? But if you look across the street, hopefully you guys are seeing that. Yeah, just one sec, if you look across the street, there's the two houses, right? What's interesting here, okay, is you have all this land as well. And this is like a double lot. So it's showing on the opposite side as well. You see how far that goes? That's the other block. So you have all that as well going on. The neighbors also said, the neighbor that filmed them, he's right over here, he was saying also about there's Christmas lights on. You know how much kids love Christmas lights, you know, and none of that. There's all this that they didn't go check. And then there's also all here and behind there. Why didn't they go check there? Interesting, right? And I'll get back to that in a minute. Let's just take some more comments for a sec, but it's interesting. Do I still live in Canada? Yes, I do. The city assessment price is different from a market appraisal. Yes, that's exactly as ours is the same thing. It's different. Okay, so on every block in America, there's at least one muffler guy or non-muffler guy. Since when do realtors who befriend clients give them money to buy the house? Maybe they have a close relationship. I don't know. That's what I say too. I wish I got gifted a down payment. Yeah, it would be interesting to know if any car seats were in that van at all, because if the kids went missing before they moved to the new house, they wouldn't have need for car seats. Exactly. I want to know that day, did they think about, oh shoot, we need car seats in there, or they were? And if so, then what's great about that is that the dog can take the scent from the car seats and then go in the house. In the US, lenders have appraisals done and the lender won't lend over the appraised value. That makes sense. Okay. When did they return the 2 foster children back to the agency? I'm not sure. I just heard chitter chatter about it. I don't know. Yeah, houses are in really short supply here in California. Everyone buying now is paying way over. That's what we had in Calgary with the oil boom. You'd have, it was crazy. Like you'd have a house you'd buy and a year later it was worth $200,000, $300,000 more. It was crazy. And then there was a shortage and you have people vying for the same house and they're paying extra over and above what it was actually listed for. So it was great for sellers. If they were bidding, would the owners wait 90 days? So you could, in Canada, you could do that as a clause. I know I'm in Canada, so I can't speak to the States, but from what we can do is you bid, but you actually have, 24 hours, or one realtor say, this is a 12 hours, this is how long this offer is good for, or whatever, and you go back and forth. And then it just depends on what your possession date is. So was the possession date on purpose for the 90 days? Meaning, was it empty already, or was it good to go for them to go anytime, or was there a reason for the 90 days? Because if they were in the apartment, I'm not sure if they owned or rented, you guys can let me know this, but if they rented, then they have to give, notice too. So I don't know how that all works, but it would be interesting to know. They hustled them into the car even up to a year ago. Them wanting to get rid of this vehicle can tell you so much. They really thought they wouldn't be caught getting a new SUV. Light and love. Thank you so much. Did you see footage of them a year ago hustling them into that? I'd be curious about that. 145,000 subscriber board update needed. Yes, I will do that. We've been stuck on a 144 because of the Lori Vallow Daybell case, which we can talk about a little bit tonight as well, if you guys want. I wonder if AWP could help them as far as the water is concerned. I'm sure they could. Right now, I know they're doing some different cases and they're traveling. I'm not sure where they'd be on that, but that'd be interesting. There you go. Lorianne says, I just sold my house in July above asking by 40K, appraised lower than list. Interesting. See, so that's amazing. Where am I reading here? I believe that wherever the children are, they cannot come back, or they would have produced them by now, similar to Lori Daybell. Unfortunately, I just feel like it's not a good sign. I just feel it's just terrible. Just to see this go down, and then, okay, what if something happened, accidentally or whatever? Why aren't you just, I don't know, to know that these little boys are somewhere potentially not with us anymore, and then like wherever they are, that just breaks my heart that, they're just somewhere. I mean, I know if they are gone, then their body, their soul's gone, right? But at the same time, all you think of like a mama bear going, oh my gosh, they're by themselves. Where are they? So I don't know. There's always hope. New guy that interviewed Chief Walker is posting full interview on his personal Facebook in a half an hour. Saw on Duty Ron. Link will be in Duty Ron's description. I'm sure that would be Bai Yang, I think his name is. Something like that. The reporter who's been on it. Yeah, something like that, right? Is that the one that you mean who questioned him? Yeah, 6 kids. Who helped them when they moved to California City? Good question. I'm sure they're pinging his cell phone. I'm sure they're doing all they can. Thank you, Miss Rosie. Thank you. They rented the apartment. I heard that their original lending source fell through, so that's why they didn't close for 90 days because they had to find a new lender and loan program. Okay. Bakersfield from Cal City is only an hour and a little bit away. Not even. Just depends on the time. I'll tell you exactly. I think it was like an hour and 10, I feel like. What did that just do? Oh, yeah, walking is going to take a while. Like 30 hours. What? An hour and 14 minutes. He's talking to Hannah. What was your super chat? Where are you? I didn't see it. You can ask a question again. Do it in caps and then I can see you. I'm so sorry I missed it. I don't have it highlighted. Just ask again and thank you so much and I'll answer your question. Maybe the mods can also just reiterate it. Just make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so where is this? This is on Facebook right now, or let's see if we can find that. And maybe we could watch it together, possibly. I don't know how I'm going to find that. Help, guys. Sorry, I'm reading for a minute here. We are just talking about the Orson and Orrin West case. Tonight I was talking about Gannon Stauch, Alexis Sharkey, Heidi Broussard, Evelyn Boswell, and now we're on Orson and Orrin. I do have a little bit of updates also in the Lori Vallow Daybell case, and a tiny one with Suzanne Morphew as well, but it's on Duty Ron. Oh, Duty, Ron is asking. Okay, Hannah, have you asked your question again so I don't miss it? Okay, so what else do you guys want to know about this case? Duty Ron's on live. I don't know. Hi, Megan. I'm from Rexburg. Hello. House was too tidy for having 6 kids. The pictures of the house was from the listing. Okay, you guys can give me some info snacks because I don't want to share Duty Ron's channel on here by streaming it because it wouldn't give him the views. You know what I mean? I love him, so I was just I'm not sure how I can figure that out. I'm going to have him on here. Hopefully he'll get back to me. Tell him. Linda from It's a Crime wants you. She lost your phone number. She doesn't know where it is. Okay. Oh, 23 ABC News. Okay. I'm so glad you guys are all joining me tonight. We're hanging out at one point it was at 4,000 people. We're hanging out, chatting about the Orson and Orrin case. I talked a bit about Chief Walker and what he said yesterday or the other day when he was interviewed. Apparently there's an interview tonight. And I posted Hannah's super chat above. Oh, here we go. What if they took the boys out during the move, like in the belongings, so there's never sight of them, maybe in suitcases? That's a possibility, Hannah. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I missed your super chat thing to highlight. I don't know where it went. This thing, when you hit on comments, sometimes it bounces, and I never did see it, so I'm super sorry. It could be. That's why I want to find out about this van, how they normally parked, and there has to be other footage of these children going somewhere. I mean, didn't they go grocery shopping? Did they just stay at home and one person went? Like, how did this work? They go, there's all kinds of things. And the children the older ones would be doing homeschooling, no? Like, how are they getting that? And were they in school? What school were they at? So there's lots of questions. It could be during the move as they're going out, maybe something happened. That's what prompted them. Or maybe they were moving and then something happened and then, they're going to hide out in California City. So we've seen many cases about a suitcase, especially like Gannon Stauch. They weren't moving. However, she chose that as a method, and a lot of people are found in suitcases, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's hard because you're just trying to figure out, would they be here or would be there? I heard that there's only smaller channels or smaller news channels reporting this, which is just so weird. Caroline says, I've been waiting to hear about Sweet Suzanne for a hot minute. I don't have a lot of information, but the information I do have is basically this Sunday, you guys have to mark it and set your reminders. Go to the interview room this Sunday with Chris McDonough. He's going to play a phone call that he had with Barry Morphew, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then after that, I think it was about a half an hour later, I'm going to be on his channel and with some very interesting guests. I'm not sure if he's announced that yet, but they're very interesting. It's going to be really, really, really good. So yes, I have been busy. So definitely go on to there because it's going to be a call that nobody wants to miss. I mean, we haven't heard from Barry in a while, right? And this is going to be interesting. I mean, the background that Chris has, and he knows how to do this stuff, right? This is his jam. So to see or hear what he says to him is going to be so incredibly interesting. That's his name. That's his name. I'll see if he actually has. Yes. Okay, so It's 3 minutes. Let's just take a look. If you guys want to see it, 1 second here. Let me share. Oh.
8-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West. Well, let's take a look back, starting from day one.
These are two little boys. They're about 3 feet tall. And if they're out there, they're scared.
Any sense of normalcy in the small community of California City was put on hold in a big way back on December 21st.
It doesn't make any sense to anybody, and it is scary.
What doesn't make sense to locals like Jamie White is that 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West reportedly disappeared from their backyard that day, according to their adoptive parents.
I came in the house, I saw them there, I went in the house, I came back out, I didn't see them there.
1 month later, there's a $100,000 reward and more than 20 tips to the California City Police Department per day. According to California City Police Chief John Walker, 3 of the department's 13 officers work the case daily with assistance from other agencies.
The morale in the community, I can feel it every day that it's becoming more and more frustrated, I believe, because they want to find the kids, and I get that. But the morale amongst my department is pretty much the same. You know, we want answers.
In search for those answers, authorities dug up the family's backyard. They've used search dogs and cadaver dogs. They have searched the homes of more than a dozen convicted sex offenders within a few miles of the home. They also used a search warrant to take the adoptive parents' cell phones and other items from their house. Investigators have questioned the pair in this room at CCPD several times. No suspects named, no persons of interest, no one detained, but no one is ruled out. There is a focus in one part of the investigation on the parents, correct?
Of course.
And that's why Walker confirmed exclusively with 23 ABC News a detail in the investigation that we're just now learning. Did you guys ask the parents to take a lie detector test?
I'm not going to disclose that.
Not asking if they denied it, just asking if it
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yes, you guys asked the parents.
Yes, we did.
But Walker was unable to confirm whether the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, took or denied the polygraph. Walker confirmed that the parents are currently staying in Bakersfield, while their other children remain in protective custody. Meanwhile, those in Cal City continue searching for the boys themselves.
We're tired. We're physically, emotionally exhausted. We're scared they're not going to be alive.
There were 6 unsolved homicides and 2 unsolved missing persons cases in Cal City when Walker became police chief in 2020. He says they're doing everything they can now so the case of the missing boys doesn't go cold.
We haven't given up. You know, we're still trying. We're still working at this thing actively.
And residents tell me that they're going to keep searching. They're not going to give up. And as you heard Walker say, they're going to do everything in their power. They're going to use all the resources they can to make sure this does not become a cold case. Again, anyone with information is asked to call the Cal City Police Department at 760-373-8606. We're in California City. Bayan Wang, 23 ABC, connecting you.
All right. So that was that. I'm actually pleasantly surprised how much answers the chief actually gives, because we see in the Suzanne Morphew case, we don't get any answers. We've seen in actually quite a few different cases, we don't get answers. So for him to be there, he actually answers more than I thought he would. Not just in this one, but since the beginning. So, and yes, Lauren Scharf today, if we're just going to switch over there to a minute, Lauren Scharf was actually talking about on her channel, I forgot about that, because I even commented on there about George, friend George Davis. And so I had put a comment on there and said, hey, Lauren, did you actually ask George if he was at the fire as well? Because we know Barry was at the fire that happened 6 days before Suzanne went missing near the Triangle. And then I also asked, did you ask George if he thought that a bear was involved? So anyway, I'm sure she wanted to ask the same question. Okay. Blue Sky says the adoption papers were found at a pipe system. AV Watchman went down the pipe to look for drag marks. Okay, I saw that earlier today. There were some sort of papers. It didn't say what it was, but some woman had it. I saw that, and I saw they were looking at, they thought it was a tunnel, but I think it was, well, I don't know. It was a storm thing or whatever, but I did see that. Yes, I'm going to be seeing if if Duty Ron can come on the channel. He knows I'm hoping to have him. Yeah, Grady Judd. Let's get Grady Judd. I would love him. He's great. He's great. Storm drain, that's the word. Yes, I have hit the 144,000. We have hit the 144K club. Eat that, Lori Vallow Daybell. A bear, a bury. Thank you. My whole family here now knows who Linda with itsacrime is. Thank you. Okay, good. The full interview is 30 minutes long. We'll be up in a minute. Also on Facebook, because you guys want to watch it. Yes or no? Yes for number 1. Actually, yes, give a like on this video if you want me to play the half an hour thing, or 2, maybe not so much. Meaning the number 2. Okay, you guys want to see it? Okay, awesome. Okay, I have to say this though. Stephanie says when I hear 400 tourists start singing Gilligan's Island. What a joke, right? I love that show. Okay, you guys are all wanting to, and give a like to the video. Oh, you wanted Chris's for the interview room? Yeah, you want to definitely set your reminders on that. Let me get you that. And he's as you know, oh good, he's getting some subscribers coming over. That's awesome. I'm going to give that to you guys. So you don't want to miss the Barry Morphew phone call, that's for sure. Yes, I would like to get a hold of him as well. Absolutely. I know he's busy going on boots on the ground. Yeah, where are you guys seeing the 30? Are you seeing the 30-minute interview on with Bayan on there, or because I'm refreshing and it's not on there, but maybe it's on his actual. I'll release the full 30-minute interview with the police chief tonight. Check back and tune in, it says. I'm just looking, guys. One sec. Not yet. Not yet. I'm on his Facebook and I don't see it. How many hats can I wear? Let me tell you. I always joke with Mike at Profiling Evil because he has a back office. I was like, this is my back office. Like, he has people helping him. And I mean, the moderators here are wonderful. Behind the scenes, I have so much stuff to do that it's crazy. I've been saying this for a long time. I really got to find some help. Just even the little things, you know, the stuff that I don't really want to do. In Lauren's video she put out the other day when she interviewed George, she asked him about the mountain lion theory, and he adamantly said that no animals were involved in Suzanne's disappearance. And I'm like, except for maybe a bear. Yes, baby Evelyn's mom is going to trial tomorrow, or she's going to a hearing tomorrow to find out if the death penalty is on the table. Thanks, Mimi. Okay, so we can, okay, Blue Sky says adoption papers are not related to these kids. So let's, I'm just going to give a little update while we're waiting for Orrin and Orson's, the interview coming. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. So Lori Vallow Daybell, there's been some papers going around. I have a whole bunch of highlighted stuff here that I was looking at. It has to do with Alex and Zulema and Melanie Pulowski. I'm doing a little deep dive because there's some things I found, and it's very interesting. One of the things also they were saying is Joseph Ryan is no longer being looked into when it comes to foul play, but which is interesting. They're like, they re-looked at the case. Well, Joseph was cremated after. So what are you looking into in that regard? How do you know? I mean, maybe they don't have the information, but are they looking at Chad Daybell? Are they looking at Alex Cox probably? I don't know. There's just some weird stuff. It's just hard to think that she's saying all this stuff and yet she's not involved. Could be, couldn't be, but still bothered by that. I do need an admin, 100%. Thanks, Rochelle. Yeah, I had a little cameo last night on Profiling Evil. I'm going to promote there's going to be a GoFundMe for Brian's mom, Frances, and I'm going to do a little bit on there and promote it on a community tab or something like that. I'm not following the case very much, so well, very much. I just found out about it, so I have to dig a little bit to find out, but I will do what I can. I said I would. Yep. Now I can tell Lori that I'm the first to get to 144, Lori. Guess you didn't lead them. The good kind. Did I see the super chat that you just sent? No. Why isn't any of the super chats coming up? You can see the interview on KGET News YouTube channel. Okay, let's see. Let's see you guys, and then we can watch it. I don't see any of that. Okay. If there is a super chat, can one of my moderators let me know? That's so weird. I don't see anything like that. Okay. Did I see the pictures linked to the old apartment on Google? Depends on what you're talking about. Hey, Jeff, welcome. I've been following your channel for a while and first time live. Welcome. We were hanging out. At one point, we had like 4,000 people just hanging out casually on a Thursday night. I think it's Thursday. Do I have top chat or live chat? Well, I'm in my StreamYard, and so all of a sudden I don't see anything coming up. It's weird. So I'm just gonna have to, it's weird. Okay, let's just check in. I'm just gonna check in and see on this Facebook. If anybody else has a link, you could let me know too. I don't see anything else on the police chief's or thing. Have they searched Grandma's property in the West case? Trezell could have disposed of them on Grandma's property while she was on vacation. I don't know. I'm sure they've searched where they could right away that they thought of. Whose baby is that back there? This baby's Evelyn Boswell. Her mom's going to court tomorrow to find out if she's going to get the death penalty. Her child was found dead and wasn't reported missing for months. Oh, now they're showing up. Weird. Weird. Chris Fisher. Yes. Okay. Let's see. It's so bizarre. I see it up at the top. Oh, yes. And do you have any thoughts on the West boys getting sold? You know, I don't know what my thoughts are. For me, I mean, I know it's out there, right? But to me, it's just loaded. Like, how can people do that? I want to know first, I guess I would want to know, why did they move out to California City? Why was that? Wanted to know about the van, if that he normally parks. So is that the kids in there or not? Why go to the trouble? I guess would be my question, Meliel. Why go to the question of why go to the lengths of adopting these children only to turn around and sell them? I don't know. Maybe you guys have some ideas. Thanks, Judith. I've matured so much during the last 6 months. Your style is like your brand, classy. Keeping it classy, you make it look so easy. Good job. Thank you. Hopefully you don't mean matured like gray. I dyed it. It's all gone. My sparkles are gone. I actually just did let me show you. We'll keep talking about cases. Let me just have a minute to breathe. This is my new shirt that I just designed for merch. Keep it classy. I always say keep it classy in the comments. Keep it classy. So that's just one little tidbit there if you guys want to take a look. So it's just getting approved and will be underneath my videos. But other than that, it's at my Teespring merch thingamajiggy. My thingamajiggy. So let's just see how to get this off now. There we go. See, I need somebody who could do that and just little bits here and there. Okay. Overpays on the house, then plants no grass. So that's my question too. If you're in that area and you have the dirt like that, right? Like it's a desert. I didn't really see anybody really. I guess they had a little bit of yards, right? Let me just look. yeah, it's a funky kind of a town in ways. Like there's 14,000 people, but it's weird how you only have like 2 houses on a block or 3 houses on a block, and then it wasn't developed. I find that kind of interesting how they do that. Let me see again. Yeah, I mean, there's grass and stuff, right? Of course, but it's just weird how some of the blocks are not really, they're not developed. The other thing that's interesting is, you know how he went and drove over that area? Well, let me just show you, because this I find interesting too. I'm going to share my screen. Oberon, I like your name. Okay, where are you here? It's so weird this thing skips over. He says, hi from Sweden. Hello. Have they actually established what time and date when the kids were last seen by other people than the parents? No, that's the thing. All they can say right now is that the parents reported the children missing, and after 4:30 p.m. is when this all played out, according to Trezell West. So we don't know, the public doesn't know what time and date. The neighbors have not seen the children. So this is why we're going back to Bakersfield and we're going back to here, because we just, it's a crapshoot. We can't figure that out. So I kind of want to go back on that video with AV Watchman, going back to the neighbors and going, okay, what about a little bit before that? What about a little bit before that? And what about a little bit before that, right? So thank you so much for your question and for your super chat. Okay. Oh, you like it? Okay, good. There you go. Okay, so is Duty Ron in here? Somebody said hi, Duty Ron. Is he in here? Linda, can you do a video on Jason Landry from Texas? He went missing on his way home from college during Christmas break. I'm going to write him down. Jason Landry, Texas. Another Texas. Another Christmas. Thank you so much for your suggestion on that. And also, how did they find California City and why move there? It's in the middle of nowhere. Good question. Do a lot of people go out there like it's just a little suburb, kind of the idea, where they go out there and they have, a slower kind of lifestyle? What's out there other than, from my understanding, some weed operations? Most all have deco rocks, no grass. That'd be probably the easiest, right? Especially because of how hot it gets. And a new member. Welcome to my crime ring, and to all those who have joined tonight on my crime ring. Cheap homes. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Cheap homes in Cal City. Cheaper to live. Do I report on Canada? Yes, I do. I have some Canadian cases as well. One of the ones that is a head scratcher right now that I'm working on is Marshall Iwasa. He went missing from Canada, and it's been a year. And there's some weird things in that case as well. And so I dug right in. So you can check that out. If you go to my playlists on my YouTube channel, then you'll be able to see it. I also have another one too. That's so true. Harley Dilly was across the street. That's so true. it's a desert. Yeah. Thanks, Rochelle. Yeah, he said he wanted to live off the grid, is from what I heard too. So my question is why though, right? Did he want to be hiding from people, or like he just really wanted to go off the grid? I mean, if you see the house, you can see solar panels as well on there. Maybe he's into that. I don't know. Oh dear. I think the Wests moved to Cal City to fly more under the radar and go unnoticed. Michaela, what do you mean by that? The man in Kelowna, BC to be killed, his family did not know that. What does that mean? I'm curious about Kelowna. My sister lives out that way because it is cheap. When I saw the houses, what did he buy for? $200,000. Calgary would be like $500,000 home. How can kids play in the dirt? They didn't let the kids outside. Yeah. Last night on siding, other than the APs, was the adopted mother who said she saw them last time when the West lived in Bakersfield, has not seen them since. How do you move out of a busy apartment and no one sees you? I'm sure. How many apartments are in there? There's quite a few, isn't there? There's probably somebody moving all the time. Recap. So tonight I did a bunch of cases I talked about. I'm going to be having timestamps in the description below when this is finished. I talked about the Gannon Stauch case. Basically, with that, the stepmother was found competent to stand trial. She did 2 competency evaluations and she's found competent. So that's going to be March 11th and the 12th. And Letitia is actually wanting a different lawyer. So she's complaining about that. And she's going to do something about that, apparently, a conflict hearing. And also they're doing blue lights out for Gannon. It's going to be 1 year since he's been gone. So next week it'll be a year. And then I did Alexis Sharkey case, and she was, her cause of death came back and she was found to be strangulated. So it was strangulation. And they ruled her death as a homicide. And that's pretty much it. We're not going to have the autopsy report available, the medical examiner said, until after law enforcement concludes its case. Then we talked about Heidi Broussard. There's supposed to be a court case, but it's always getting pushed out. And then we were talking about Orrin and Orson West. We're kind of teetering on that back and forth. We did quite a bit on that, and we were checking to see there should be a half-an-hour video on here, but it's not updating yet. So we might have to, still not up. Supposedly it's a half an hour long. That'd be interesting to see. And I talked this coming, if you follow the Morphew case, this coming Sunday on the channel called The Interview Room with Chris McDonough, he actually has a phone call with Barry that he's releasing. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And I'm going to make a little guest appearance on that night too, as well. And so if you guys haven't checked out his channel, go there, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for Sunday. And then Lori Vallow-Daybell, there's been a few things. Oh, and Colby moved to Rexburg. Lori Vallow's son, him and his family have moved to Rexburg. I saw a video of him in his vlog, and he talked about them going, and his wife said that they just felt like the Lord told them to go, and so they decided to move to Rexburg. So they're there, and I think it's been about a month. And then apparently Chad gave a blessing to Alex the day he died, which is interesting. Would have loved to have heard that. And so we've been teetering now on some questions and back to Orrin and Orson. I know everybody really wants to know, me included, where the boys are. Why did they report the boys missing? Because we don't know how long they've actually been gone. That's the question. Why that day, right? Okay. They have to fix this on this StreamYard about the comments jumping. There you are. Hi, Duty Ron. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Yes, please email please email me your number, or just email me and we can connect and get you on here. I'd love to have you as a guest. We talked about that a little bit before, and I did send you a message, but I know you probably get cajillion of that. So I'd love to have you on. Just let me know what your availability is and we can chit chat and have you on. If you guys have not checked out Duty Ron's channel, 100% go check him out. He has some interesting guests on, and I've actually watched Duty Ron far before, or I don't know, I wouldn't say far before, but quite a bit before I started my channel. And then I started my channel, and of course you get so busy doing your own channel that you can't watch as many people anymore. But I have caught up a little bit in the last few days, and he's amazing. I'm surprised that you don't have a lot more people on there, but let's just get the word out there and go see Duty Ron. And then get you on here. We'll have a little chit chat. Okay. Okay, weird. Now the super chat comes up from Hannah. That's so crazy, Hannah. See, now it showed up. See, I don't know, something's going on. Okay, so anything from the garbage collectors like nappies and baby formula. Well, the kids were 3 and 4, so I would think they be out of diapers, unless they were a little bit behind, but not the 4-year-old, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know what they got from the garbage, but I have heard through the grapevine that there was some Jack Daniels found in the garbage. Yes, Duty Ron is a guest. I agree. So maybe it's just like we're just behind because it's really weird. Yes, Harley Dilly was from my town, Port Clinton, Ohio. I covered his case. He was found deceased in a chimney across the street. Yeah, I was part of the public search. Wow. Yeah, we followed that case, and we were hoping it was a better outcome. And poor kid was in the chimney. It was very sad. Thank you, Chili Jean. This was a question that a lot of people are asking if we know the occupation. On his LinkedIn, Trezell said he was an entrepreneur. We saw that he's selling beets, but I don't know what he actually did, or perhaps it was money from the adoption of having the adopted kids. I wouldn't say you get you get a decent amount for each kid. So. Okay, so Patty says, I feel they aren't going to find anything in Cow City because the boys were never there. The bio mom was going to see the boys for Christmas. But then I was hearing about and this is just chatter, that they didn't want the bio mom to see the kids. But I don't know how that all works when it comes to adoption and that. There we go. The bio moms last saw the kids 2 years prior. That makes sense to me. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see. I'm just going to refresh the Facebook, and then we could probably all 3,500 of us watch this together. Yep. Okay, hang on. You guys want to watch it? Put a heck yeah. Put a heck yeah. Let me share it. Okay. Sharing screen. You got a half an hour. Get comfortable. Okay, I'm going to make this big. Here we go. Hang on.
All right, Chief Walker, I really appreciate you sitting down with me. It's about a month now since 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West have gone missing.
That's correct.
What is the morale right now in the community?
The morale in the community, the feeling is, I can feel it every day that.
Are you kidding me? Hang on, you guys. I was fiddling too much. Sorry. 1 minute, we'll never get back. Okay, this other one showed, okay. Please bear with me again. I won't touch anything. Okay. I just want to make it a little bit bigger, that's all. Okay.
Since 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West have gone missing.
That's correct.
What is the morale right now in the community?
The morale in the community, the feeling is, I can feel it every day that it's becoming more and more frustrated, I believe, because they want to find the kids, and I get that. But the morale amongst my department is pretty much the same. You know, we want answers, we want to find the kids, and we're working just as hard as we can to make that happen.
And just to be clear, I understand there's multiple agencies involved. Are all those agencies still involved? Can you name them for me?
Right now, the most participation now is between us, Bakersfield PD, Kern County DA. We still are in with the FBI. So those are probably the 4 main ones right now.
And through the course of the last month, you and I have spoken several times, every morning, every night.
At least.
Right. And I
At
always check
least.
to see if there's any updates.
Right.
Now that we are a month out and I have the luxury of having you in front of me, I'd like to know. I want to just basically run through a lot of the questions I've asked before in case
Sure.
Anything has changed, and also some new questions that I've drawn up here.
Sure.
So there seems to be a bit of a discrepancy of when the kids were reported missing. So when you guys responded to the parents' home, the adoptive parents' home, Trezell and Jacqueline West, when did they tell you they noticed the kids go missing?
The timeline that we received from them is the kids have been gone 15 to 20 minutes prior to them making the call to us.
Right.
So they noticed the kids gone. They searched the house. They searched the immediate area. And I believe Trezell actually got in his car and went searching in his car, came back. When they came to the realization they needed help, they called us.
So you're saying from the moment they noticed that Orson and Orrin West go missing, they told you that it was within 15 to 20 minutes of that time that they called police.
Per their statement, that's correct.
What time exactly did police get a call for service?
The call got dispatched at 17:43, which would be 5:43 p.m. in the evening
Okay.
on Monday, the
doesn't make
21st of December.
So you're saying that's when it was dispatched. When did the call come in just a few minutes prior to dispatch?
Yeah, it only took minutes once the call came in to dispatch the call out, and we were on scene within 6 minutes.
Okay, so that would be police arriving by 5:50-ish.
At least, yeah.
Okay. We spoke in the past about where police start with investigations like this, missing children's. Tell me about the nature of that.
Commonly, particularly with children, you always want to search from the inside out. You know, many times parents panic and believe their kids, ran out the door and ran down the street, which could be, but my training experience, you start from the inside out, always. So that's what occurred. My officers started from the inside. They searched the house. They searched the yards. They searched the shed in the back. And then they started to widen their search out into the neighborhood.
Got it. And from my understanding, it was the very next day that there was a search warrant executed at the home.
Correct.
There needs to be probable cause for a search warrant to be granted by a judge.
Mm-hmm.
What was that probable cause to go in there with a search warrant?
Well, particularly when small kids are involved, we have the right to go in and search. So just for the protection of the kids, to make sure that, there's no foul play or the kids aren't somewhere inside the house.
Okay. What items were collected the first time of the search warrant?
Numerous items were collected that first time through. So I'm not going to disclose exactly what
Wish
we
they
took,
ask about
but mostly basic items.
child seat.
Mostly electronic items.
What kind of items?
Mostly electronic
Computers?
phones. Yeah.
Okay.
iPads.
Has that since been returned to the parents?
Some of it.
Okay.
Some of it, to the best of my knowledge. I know for sure they've received their phones back.
Okay. Was their car at one point towed from their home?
Yes.
Yeah,
Excuse
we
me.
saw that.
I apologize.
No worries.
Yes.
Okay. Was luminol used on the vehicle?
Yes.
What does luminol detect?
I don't know how to put that in layman's terms.
What is it typically used for, luminol?
Generally blood, to the best of my knowledge.
Was there any sign of that in the van?
No.
In the initial
He
search
talks
of
a
the
lot.
home, there were scent dogs used, correct?
Correct.
What was the purpose of that?
To locate the children. If they pick up the scent of the kids in the house, once they get the scent of the kids in the house, then they like us, start to widen their search. But the dogs never picked up any scent outside the house.
Can you put that in terms of why that is important to know, that there was no scent of the kids outside of the home?
It doesn't necessarily mean anything in particular, but it does lead us to believe that, the kids did not wander outside of the house. But once again, that's not necessarily 100%. But the dogs didn't detect any scents outside the house.
These dogs are fully trained for this, correct?
Correct.
There was no extreme weather patterns that day that we know of. There wasn't extreme wind like there is now.
No,
Did you guys find that a bit alarming or of interest?
of course.
Now, scent dogs are trained to do a particular thing. They're unless they're dual trained, they're trained to do one specific thing, pick a scent, and find where it's gone. Was there any other dogs used in the home?
Yes, we had a cadaver dog come in as well.
And what are cadaver dogs trained to do?
Find dead bodies. So, none found.
They didn't detect anything at all.
No.
Okay. How many additional times has law enforcement gone into the home?
Since first day, we've been in there at least 4 times that I know of.
And what items were collected during those times?
Once again, several other items that we believe could be of evidentiary value.
And those are obviously items that you are unable to disclose at this time.
Correct.
Okay. You mentioned particular attention to the backyard in our previous conversations. What kind of work has been done in the backyard?
That backyard has been completely excavated by an FBI forensic team. We found some, piles of dirt back there. So just to be sure, we actually dug them up.
Sure of what?
There we go.
Sure that there wasn't anything in the backyard that, could lead us to the kids.
Or being sure that the kids weren't in the backyard.
Correct.
You mentioned that you go from the inside out. You expanded to the neighborhood. Initially, you guys spoke to all the neighbors in the area. Did they mention any sightings of the boys?
Once they went missing?
Yes.
No.
And I recall at the time we spoke, you said that there was
Once they went
no
missing.
sighting of the boys ever since they were there in September.
Originally, the neighbors we did contact said that they had no knowledge there were kids in the house, but since then we have had neighbors come forward and say that they did have knowledge that there were children staying in the house.
Okay.
So neighbors had knowledge there was children in the home, but there was never a positive ID of Orrin or Orson, right?
No. Or any of the kids for that matter.
So none of the kids have ever been positively ID'd, but there has been neighbors that told you, hey, we were aware that there were children in the home.
That is correct statement.
There we go.
Now I'm asking
How many?
this before, but where was the last positive ID, hence the last time Orrin and Orson were seen?
To the best of our knowledge,
Yes.
the day that they went missing.
From the parents.
From the parents.
Now, you guys go into the neighborhood to see if anybody else has seen the kids.
Who
I'm
last saw the
talking
kids?
about anyone other than the adoptive parents. Was there a last positive ID of Orrin and Orson West anywhere other than California City?
Probably in Bakersfield with the grandmother.
Okay, so then the grandmother confirmed a specific date where
Yes.
she saw the kids last.
Yes.
When was that?
I'm not going to.
Ah,
Okay. Has there been anybody other than family that has positively ID'd, hence seen Orrin and Orson West in Bakersfield?
I would have to review the notes, but yes.
A yes, that there has been someone other than family that
Yes.
has seen the two kids.
Yes.
Positively ID'd them.
Yes.
Can you disclose that date?
No.
And for people who watch this and wonder, hey, why can't they disclose that? What is the reasoning?
Because those are significant dates, and we don't want people to start speculating. Well, again, with the rumors, they saw him on this date, but they didn't see him on that date. So this must mean this is what happened, and that's not true. So we want to keep those dates close to the vest and those people as well.
Yeah.
That's not
and
true.
I should also mention that in the media, we're very careful with the way we portray things. We also have to be very mindful of our questions. We have
Sure.
to be
And I appreciate that.
very mindful of not alleging anything ourselves.
Right.
But if a third party looks at this investigation so far, you mentioned scent dogs going to the home, the cadaver dog, digging up the backyard to make sure the kids weren't buried there.
Correct.
Questioning the parents, that has happened, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. It leads me to ask, it leads me first to say, it's not a surprise or a secret that there is a focus in one part of the investigation on the parents, correct?
Of course.
So with that, I've asked you this before, has there been any suspect or suspects named in this case so far?
No.
Any persons of interest at this point?
Of course.
Who?
I can't disclose that.
The parents.
Person or persons of interest?
I won't disclose that either.
Okay. Has anyone been arrested since the day these kids went missing?
In conjunction with this case, no. No one.
Okay. Anyone detained since the first day these kids went missing?
No.
Okay, so you earlier mentioned that you guys questioned the parents.
Yes.
Is questioning synonymous with interrogating?
No.
What's the difference?
An interrogation, well, again, you're splitting hairs. An interrogation is, I want to know this and I want to know from you, and I believe you know this information. Where this is more of it's informative for us. Where did you see them last? What were they wearing? Where were you that day? Is there any possible way they could have done this? Is there any possible way they could have done that? It's a total different dynamic. But again, you're splitting hairs. Interrogation, questioning. Can they be synonymous? Sure.
And it's important to note that the adoptive parents, according to what you've told me in the past, they've been more than willing to come in anytime you guys have requested, correct?
Yes, they've come in multiple times, actually.
More than what, a handful, 5 times, 6 times?
3 times that I know for sure.
Okay. And
Here.
The nature of all those has just been questioning?
Yeah, follow-up questions. Okay, we didn't ask this last time. We're still trying to find your kids. What about these people? What about this? Were you with them here? Were you with them there? We're just trying to narrow the scope of our investigation as well, hopefully with their cooperation.
Why did you say you did 6-minute search and told us you did 15 to 20 minutes?
Now,
how about that?
Let's step back from this case for a second. From your experience, how many years have you had in law enforcement?
Just passing 30.
Okay, so a lot of experience, right?
A lot of experience.
You've seen a lot of things.
Yes.
Worked a lot of cases.
Yes.
Okay. Well, with all that experience, are lie detector tests a useful investigative tool?
Yes, but they're not admissible in court. But are they a good tool? Sure.
Does law enforcement in California have the ability to request a lie detector test from anyone in any case?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's completely voluntary.
Here in California City, have you guys ever asked someone to take a lie detector test for
Yes.
any case?
Of course. Yes.
And what kind of cases are those where a lie detector test, you go, hey, let's see if we could ask for this?
Types of cases like this.
Okay.
We just want to confirm or deny, the credibility of someone's statement.
Types of cases like this, you say, 2 missing kids,
no kids on camera.
a lot of different factors involved.
A lot.
So it's not a stretch for me to ask.
No, Natasha, I don't.
Did you guys ask the parents to take a lie detector test?
I'm being a smart
I'm not
aleck
gonna
on
disclose that.
the
Not
adults.
asking if they
on
denied
the-
it, just asking
on
if
the
it was-
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yes, you guys asked the parents.
Yes, we did.
And you can't tell me anything after that.
No.
Okay. In our previous conversations, you also mentioned briefly about where the other kids are. Just to confirm, there's 2 biological children of Trezell and Jacqueline West.
Correct.
4 adoptive kids in total. 2 of those were Orrin and Orson West.
The way I understand it, and the way I've been briefed on it, there was two biological children, 2 foster children, and Orrin and Orson were actually adopted.
Mhm.
So, and then ranging in ages from 10 all the way down to 3.
Oh, he is talking
Were you
about
guys
the
able
age.
to confirm that the day the 2 boys went missing, that the parents' other 4 children were not at the home at the time?
They were not at the home at the time. That is correct.
Where were they?
They were in Bakersfield with the grandmother.
What was the reason for that?
I think it was a holiday visit. That's the way it was explained to me.
Okay.
For how long?
Where are the kids now? The other parents' children, where are they now?
In foster care.
They're not being held by another family member or anything like that?
No.
They're all in foster care?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Ever since these kids went missing, Orrin and Orson West, the parents' other 4 children have been in foster care.
Correct.
Why?
10 down to 3.
We can determine
the age.
what happened to the other 2 kids and determine, well, then it's up to Children's Services when they want to release the children back to the parents.
So at this point, it's not really in authorities' hands. You guys share information with CPS. They look at the situation, and at this point, they're acting on their own and deciding what happens with the children.
Correct.
So we've reached out to CPS, our newsroom has, and we asked, hey, in what instances are kids taken away from, parental figures? And they said when there is implications, proof that there was neglect or abuse.
Mhm.
In your guys' investigation, was there any proof of that or suspicion of that with the parents' other children?
Oh, I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay. We've also in previous conversations spoken about surveillance footage.
Okay.
Obviously, Cal City PD's aware that there's surveillance footage out there, correct?
There's footage off of security cameras from the neighboring homes. That is correct.
Okay. Are you aware of what's been shown in any of the footage?
Yes. I get briefed on that daily. Again, we have hours and hours of that we're reviewing. So yes, but I get briefed.
Okay. And essentially, and we could clear up just in our last conversation, you weren't able to disclose what was in that film.
That is correct.
Okay. And that's all because it's part of the investigation, correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not able to comment whether only certain amount of kids were seen in the parents' adoptive home from the surveillance footage in the area.
No, I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay. You're not able to say whether there was a total of 6 or a total of 4 in all the days you guys have seen?
No, because then once again, it's going to cause speculation.
Okay. Let's talk about that for a second. The media, we always have keyboard warriors. They type in and they're, upset about certain things, what we're covering, what we're not covering.
Sure.
I'm sure during this investigation, you've noticed that on the end of law enforcement too.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
What things stand out that you'd like to address?
Again, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of belief on what we should be doing, when in fact we're probably already doing that, or places we should be looking where we probably already looked, and that's okay. People can speculate as long as they know, or I would hope that they believe that we're doing everything we can to locate these kids. I mean, if you've thought of it, we've probably looked there, but that's okay. If you don't think we've looked there, please share that information with us, and we will. A lot of people have called in and gave us clues or tips. We haven't directly gotten back to them, but we have followed up on those clues. So anything that's viable that comes in where we can have a follow-up meaning something specific, a specific location, a specific person, a specific vehicle with a license plate. We can follow up on all that stuff. It's the, well, I think I saw this and I maybe saw that. And, I had a dream the other night that this happened. All that's good stuff. And I appreciate it. And again, I would never turn down any help. We're not closed off to anything, but to help us, we need specifics. And if you've never been in this business or been down this road, everyone's going to have speculations of what they feel that we should be doing. And that's okay. They watch a lot of TV and that's okay too. But I just want to assure everybody that we are doing everything possible to find these kids and bring them home.
They watch a lot of TV, and that's okay.
You guys were mentioning the amount. You were mentioning the amount of tips you guys are getting. Is it, how many would you say you get a day?
A day, 20 or 30 probably, easily. Easy.
Calling in through how?
You calling in mostly. I get a lot of calls in my dispatch. They are calling our anonymous tip line, but my dispatchers have tablets right there in their dispatch center with all these different clues. And as they come in, they pass them on to me, and then I pass them on to whoever I want to do the follow-up.
And you say that there's, going back to, the attacks you're saying you're getting, when people are saying, hey, look, how can law enforcement not have seen here? How can they have not done that? You're saying you guys probably already are doing this.
Yes.
How much does law enforcement know? How much is law enforcement doing that us in the media or people in the public don't know about, just to, make sure that the investigation is, not being messed with, not being, keeping the integrity of the investigation?
Well, again, we're gathering as much information as we can. We're sharing that information. We're putting that information together to see where this thing or if it will lead us in a certain direction. But again, we can't be closed off. We have to look at this, and if the evidence starts to build over here and the mountain gets higher and higher, we're going to start focusing here more. But if something comes in that leads us another, then we're going to at least check that out and see how that weighs out against this. Does it match up? Does it not? Are we totally in the wrong spot? We could be. But as the information comes in, this mountain keep building. So we need to, because we don't want to specifically look at one thing or one person, because first of all, that's not fair. And second of all, that means we're not open to the whole investigation. We have to be completely open. But however, we have to continue to follow the leads and clues where they go. And if they keep going, pointing in that same direction, then we're going to keep following that path.
Has that path led you to believe that these kids are dead?
No.
He's not going to answer that.
No. I have to remain optimistic and hopeful that that's not true, and that it's going to lead us to where they actually are.
Well, let me ask you, we all want to be hopeful these kids are alive.
Of course. But
has your investigation led you to believe that you say foul play is involved?
I believe so, but that doesn't mean they're dead.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they're dead at all. I'm just saying my portion of the investigation at this point, how did those kids get out of that backyard? It's a big backyard. It's well fenced in. The timeline between the time that the dad said they went missing to the time that we were on scene, how far could they have gone on their own? Which leads me to believe somehow they got removed from that backyard.
Do you question whether they were ever actually in that backyard, given everything you've told me so far?
We have to question everything. Of course.
Do you think the kids, any leads saying that they may have been kidnapped?
I'm not going to answer that.
I'm not going to comment on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give you a bad answer, because that's a pretty loaded question. If someone took them out of the backyard, then yeah, that would mean they were kidnapped.
And yeah, you
but no one's come forward and offered money for the return at all. So, and I believe the reward money is up to $100,000. So, but no one's come forward yet.
Any indication these kids could have been trafficked?
It's always a possibility. Yeah. Again, that goes back to semantics. Were they kidnapped? Kidnapping means illegally moving one person from one point to another, whether it's from the front yard to the backyard or from the backyard to wherever. But kidnapping means that they went against their will somewhere they didn't want to go. And if they've taken them there now, and now they're trying to traffic them, so it's kind of one and the same. So it's a possibility. We're open to all that.
There's all these different factors that I'm laying out. And forgive me, I know there's a lot of them that you can't answer.
Correct. And I'm sorry I can't. I'd love to tell you, exactly you're right. And this is what we know. And this is what we're looking at. And this is what we want to do. And we have this specific suspect in mind. And we're going to make an arrest. today. I would love to tell you that.
And just to be clear, I appreciate all the information you've shared so far. There's no bad blood here.
No.
Just as a journalist, I just have to ask these.
No, I understand. And I'm trying to be as transparent as I can without, tainting the investigation.
Completely understand. And
He
I
said
respect
more than the
that
last
fully.
10
You were talking about the mountain
cases I've done.
you guys are building
Mhm.
that leads you guys to look here.
Right.
Are you speaking in terms of a search? Or are you speaking in terms of the nature of why they went missing?
I don't know.
You were talking about how, you use resources in a certain areas. You
Right.
just look at the mountain of evidence that you guys have somewhere.
Right.
Speaking of that, still, is there any physical evidence that you guys have found that indicates foul play?
Well, again, physical evidence, as far as DNA, as far as bloody clothing, something like that. Is that what you're referring to?
Sure.
I mean, physical evidence could be a security cam. Maybe. No.
Okay. Circumstantial evidence. How much of that do you guys have?
lots, he said.
I'm not going to comment on
He said lots before.
Okay. All right. Let me ask just in terms of the overall investigation. At the beginning of this conversation, I asked how many agencies are involved. Cal City Police, you guys, how many police officers do you guys have?
We have 13 sworn, including me.
Okay. And how many people each day, because you guys are the lead investigators, are working this case?
Oof. Off and on, at least 3. So that taxes my resources, but that's okay. My guys are working hard and they don't complain about it at all.
So you have basically 3 rotating,
Right.
working this case every
We have
day.
somebody touching on it somehow every day.
And just to be clear for those people who hear this interview, doesn't mean there's 3 total personnel working this, right? Is there from BPD and KCSO and FBI
Oh, no. There's a ton of people working on this thing.
every single day?
Yes, absolutely. And we liaison with them, or I do daily. I reach out to them and we liaison. Okay, what do we got today? This is what we got. Anything new? What do we need to do tomorrow? Which way are we going tomorrow? What else can we get? And every time I get a tip or a clue, I pass it on to them as well. And if they can follow up on it, great.
And as I'm closing up here, I just want to know, have the adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Trezell, are they, have they been asked not to leave California?
Not to my knowledge. We never asked them that.
Are they?
All we asked them is to be available if we need to get a hold of them, and they have been.
Okay. Any other, you guys are lead investigators, you guys share information as you've been told to me. Has any other authority suggested to Jacqueline and Trezell not to leave California?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Anything I'm not asking? And any last tidbits that you want to leave for anybody who has been following this case?
No, and I say this every time we interview that, we haven't given up. We're still trying. We're still working at this thing actively. So I would hope anybody out there who has anything that can help us, we're more than willing to follow up. And we're still trying.
Got it.
Almost done.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting some more questions here. Silver Saddle Ranch.
Mhm.
That was the last search that authorities were involved in, correct?
In Cal City, yes.
Okay. Where else have authorities searched? I know I asked you this before, but in case
Multiple locations. We've searched. Well, we had the community come out. We searched almost a 5 square miles around the desert adjacent to their home. We've done personally searches throughout the neighborhood.
Was it the lake
We went
too?
out to Silver Saddle Ranch last week with about 50 personnel. Silver Saddle, the resort area itself, is probably about 20 square miles with an old hotel and banquet rooms. And we searched every single one of those individually, along with Kern County Sheriff Search and Rescue. They came out and searched the whole property on foot. Barns, there's all kinds of recreation rooms out there, little campsites, searched the whole thing. Took us 3-4 hours and came up empty.
Any indication that this may become a cold case?
Not at this point. I
He's
think
been
we
asked
still
this
have
so many
enough to go
times.
on for now. But again, we reevaluate that daily and what are we going to do next. So, but you know, missings they never go away until you find those people. So cold case would mean we put it on a box and put it on a shelf somewhere and we revisit it every once in a while. But even the cold cases I have now, I have someone working on them every day. I have a full-time crime analyst that works on them daily. So I don't see this going away anytime soon, unless we find them.
Right. I'm curious to know why you mentioned at the beginning that the Kern County District Attorney is involved.
Mhm.
Why
That's
are they,
common.
How, in what capacity?
That's the thing is because they have investigators. The district attorney, Cindy Zimmer, she's great. She's always very helpful and willing to help us out. She had some personnel that she could spare to help us come down and search, so they do so.
Got it. Okay, so it's more sort of an investigatory thing.
Kind of a mutual aid thing. Mhm.
Got it. Okay.
Because they know we don't have the bodies for especially like Silver Saddle. That would have took us days. So, they came down and the more bodies, we were able to search the whole place in 4 hours.
Great. All right. Well, Police Chief Walker, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
Do you feel like you are appreciated as a father?
All right. Whew. Thank you, Terry. So we saw that little bit. There is 20 to 30 tips a day that they're getting, and they have to sift through all of that. They get the question quite a bit. John Walker gets the question quite a bit about this being a cold case. It's been 4 weeks today. It's been a month today, and they have so much to sift through. It's important to keep this out in the limelight for the kids, and hopefully somebody saw something, said something, and does something. That's the thing, right? And maybe it's something where they haven't heard of this case, and maybe tonight, almost 4,000 people are on, and they live there, and they're like, "Holy, I think I saw something." And then you take that and you go call the cops and let them follow up on it. It's important. But sometimes it takes something like, well, maybe that wasn't nothing. And then you hear about it, you're like, oh, geez, I think there's something there. I think I remember that, or whatever. It could be small, but it's huge, D Northern says, 5K was not used for house purchase. West had to pay unplanned additional closing fees that left $0 for moving expenses and furniture. Friend felt bad and loaned $5,000 for that. She says he repaid $3,000 so far. Thank you for letting me know that. I see. When you're buying a house, it's always extra costs. I find that in my purchases in the past, you get to the home and you're like, now I got to go to Home Depot and I got to go pick up this and I got to go pick up that, and plus it's the move and by the way, the lawyer's cost is this and that. So I know there's extra cost as well. So this is interesting because they haven't said what they were wearing, only that they were wearing black shirts and dark pants or gray pants. The same. Didn't say like if there was any design on the front or anything. So he says quite a bit more than the average person, like the average police chief. I haven't seen, in how many cases there were a little bit more updates with Gannon, but we've seen nothing with really one or two or whatever, just a tiny smidge with Suzanne Morphew. With Evelyn, we had pretty decent updates as well. Same with Grady Judd. But there's some times that just they can't or they won't. I'm surprised how much information we do get from Chief Walker. Dates are super important. I wish we knew. So we'll see what more he can say. There's one thing though, he did do a interview a couple days ago, or maybe this was the week before, and they talked about circumstantial evidence, and he actually said that that there was a lot of circumstantial evidence. So I'll have to pull that up, but they did talk about that. And so this time he says he didn't want to comment, but last time he said he did talk about the circumstantial evidence. Okay, so we are going to go, man, we've been doing this for 3 hours, you guys. It's crazy. Was that the interview from yesterday? Holy man, it feels like days ago. Yeah, it was either yesterday or the day. Yeah. And I think he was talking to the female reporter. You guys can remind me her name now. And there was another one. I feel like there was another one. And he said there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. I know it's been 3 hours already. My butt's getting numb. Chris McDonough's channel is called The Interview Room. You'll be able to see his first video, official video, coming out this Sunday. Let me get the number for you, Mr. Rooster. I have that. Let me just find it here. The phone number for you. I know it was on the end of the other one too. Hang on now. Okay, here, I'll just put it out here. Perla, that's the other reporter, but here's the phone number you can call if you have a tip. If you have a tip, that's funny. I can put myself in a timeout. That's funny. There. Okay, so why didn't Grandma take all the kids if it was for a holiday visit? Trizel's saying it's because they're too young. And I question, he talked about holiday visit, but they said vacation. And I feel like if it was one day, it would be, an overnight. Vacation seems like, how many days are they gone for it to be a vacation, right? Thank you. Thank you. Right? So I wish Bayan would have said for how long was the vacation for? Because that's a lot longer than just an overnight. Like how long? Are we talking a week up until Christmas? Like how long? It's people like this right here that makes me laugh. This says more about you than it does me. Bye. Okay. Yes, Chief Walker has done several updates. I can understand the grandmom not wanting to take all these children at once, especially if it's 6. That's a lot. You're right. Is it just her that's there? I don't know that answer. But I wonder if if that was normally the way it is, or has all the kids gone there before all in one fell swoop, or do they usually only take just the 4? This is still live. Yes, Christine Curtis. We are high vibing in here. That's the thing. The community's amazing in here. I just love it. I love community, and pretty good. Pretty good that we only have one bad apple and how many bunches of fruit. Thanks, Tara. Me and Mr. Linda have a deal, so it's all good. Six is a heavy load, but the Wests are what? They're in their 30s, so perhaps grandma's only 50s or 60s or something. Just depends, right? Maybe it is too much, or maybe it's like, no, I can take them. The older ones can help out. What was that? The one I think I partially saw, but you can repeat it. You can totally repeat that for me. It might have been when I was watching the live stream, or what do you call it? The interview. So feel free to repeat that, and I'll look out for that. Yes, I mean 6 is a lot. I totally agree. But I'd like to know, before did she take them, or maybe it is too much of a handful for 3 and 4 years old. But there we go. How would they stay on the patio and not move anywhere else, right? 3 and 4 years old. I don't know. Nancy, I've never seen Mr. Linda. Has he been on? Yes, he has. He's been on. He does come on the members as well, and sometimes he makes an appearance, and we chit chat. Gerard says, wish we had crime channels here like yours, Linda. There's a little boy here called Noah. He went missing and found a week later naked in a storm drain. No answers and no arrests. That's so sad. That's what I just hope the ones that are found that come with answers, and that it's not completely cold. And that's the thing that I always say, the truth does come out. Some people don't believe that, but it might be years from now. We're seeing this now in 20, 30-year-old cases that they're coming out with, yeah, we found DNA now, or they've gone back and they found and arrested so-and-so and so-and-so, and it's good. It's quite remarkable. So Texas Sweepy says, appreciate the live show and the extra time you spent with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Please don't feed the trolls. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to do that. It just depends, but sometimes it's good. Yeah, someone in the video stated that both Trezell and his mom lived at the same address back in 2005, the house that they searched. I saw that it was the brother that lived there. I believe it was, but I'll double check that because I want to look into that for sure. We have about 5 more minutes, you guys, and then I'm going to get going so I can go to sleep. Rowan says Mr. Linda is one buff dude. Yeah, Rosemary says, I've been watching tonight's live from the beginning. I think I'm getting ready to turn into pumpkin. I know. We think it's only going to be an hour and a half, and it always goes longer. All boys, no sandboxes, no ride on toys, shovels. I didn't see any bikes. Have you guys seen any bikes? Were they in the garage? I don't know. They talked about a polygraph tonight that it was asked, but they didn't say what happened, if they did or not. I just played the full interview, the last half hour. So oh, Brennan Tube, thank you so much. I know tonight has been wonky. Some other people said it was coming and then it showed up like a half an hour later. So I don't know what's going on, but I do appreciate you. So thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Linda arrived and said, thanks, Tara. I'm never going to hear the end of it. We love Mr. Linda. He's a pretty good guy. Okay, so, some people were joining me from the UK. You're probably tired. You guys summoned him, must have. His ears were ringing. Couple more minutes. Yeah, that's Sydney. That's what I've been wondering about these car seats. If they're car seats in the vehicle, and did the scent be picked up? Was it picked up by the dogs? Were there car seats there? There should be. If there wasn't, then I would kind of lean more towards the Bakersfield theory, but who knows at this point. Diane says, I appreciate your time, hard work, dedication, and passion for these cases and the community. I'm so grateful to be here from the beginning of the channel. Yeah, you were right from the beginning. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being part of it. Thanks for everybody to hang out with me tonight. We're hitting 4,000 people here tonight, hanging out on a Thursday night, just chit-chatting it up. And my throat's getting a little scratchy now. Thank you, my Mystic Healing. Yeah, thank you. You guys are awesome. Really, really great. I mean, the community is fantastic. You know how much I love community, and we only had one bad apple, really, or maybe there's somebody I didn't see tonight, but it doesn't matter because you guys are awesome. I just really appreciate you, and there's going to be more videos coming, I assure you. And so we'll get down to the bottom of it, and hopefully some more information comes out in any of these cases, and I'll bring it up to you. So Rastrick says, do you know the process of adoption and how her criminal record allows them to gain the eligibility of adoption fostering? That's a good question. And I heard because she had some criminal records, I want to know more about that. I don't know how stringent. They're fairly stringent, but I would like to know about that as well. So really great question. Thank you so much. It is 10:44 here. My butt is numb. So I'm going to wrap it up tonight, you guys. I'm going to give this some time to process once it's done. So probably by the morning, I'm going to have to say, is the timestamps. You'll have to go through it, and I'll do that so just to make it a little bit easier if you wanted to go back to it. But the middle to end is Orrin and Orson, and we need to find them. We need to find Suzanne. There's so many things we need to do. So thank you so much. Be sure to check us out on Sunday at the interview room with Chris McDonough, because he's going to be playing the Barry Morphew call that he had with them. And then I'm going to be doing some videos, of course, this week as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you need to email me with some information, you can email me at itsacrimeandashame at gmail.com. And also, if you have any information on Orrin and Orson, please call the police department in Cal City. And I just really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the mods tonight. You're doing an awesome job. Thanks to everybody who just joined me, and also for all your super chats. I really, really appreciate you. So we'll see you again in a couple days. And also, just so you know, that the community tab right now on my channel is being a little wonky, and I talked to YouTube about it, and they're going to try and resolve it by tomorrow. I had to video it and all this other stuff, so they're gonna raise that or escalate the issue, and then hopefully it'll be figured out, so you guys will know. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.